This page is the exciting cover of SEGA Saturn magazine from June 5, 1998. It features vibrant artwork of the cast from Slayers Royal 2, highlighting this sequel as a major draw. The big headline asks a crucial question. Can we see the Dream on Sega's new hardware? A clear nod to the impending reveal or hype surrounding the Dreamcast console, Sega's next big leap. Inside, they promise complete guides for various SEGA Saturn titles. Featured games include the highly anticipated Slayers Royal 2, the strategic depth of Super Robot Wars Final Chapter, more tactical goodness in Shining Force 2 Eyes Scenario 2, and the sequel Dragon Force 2. Other titles like Princess Maker, Fairy Tales Come True, Super Real Mahjong P7, and Revolutionary Girl Utena are also covered, showcasing the diverse range of software still hitting the Saturn at this time. There's even a feature on Capcom's Yoshiki Okamoto, offering insight into game development from a legendary creator. This cover captures the mix of current Saturn releases and the buzz about Sega's future. This page is an advertisement for a unique Sega Saturn title published by Enix. Become the coach for the national team. World's first soccer RPG. The striking visual features a determined-looking man in traditional Japanese attire holding a large scroll emblazoned with bold calligraphy, all set against a vibrant red background. As the title suggests, this game puts you in the role of the coach for the Japan national football team. It boldly claims to be the world's first soccer RPG, offering a different take on the genre. You'll travel the world, discover various items and players, hone your coaching skills, and aim to become the world's strongest coach. A key feature highlighted is the appearance of real Japanese national team players. The page includes small screenshots showing a world map view and a menu screen with player stats or items, giving a glimpse into the RPG management elements. This intriguing blend of sports management and RPG mechanics was set to release on June 11th for 6,800 yen. This page is an advertisement for World Cup '98 France Road to Win for the Sega Saturn. The visuals feature a hand unrolling a scroll emblazoned with bold, black exclamation marks, setting a tone of excitement and anticipation. This action sports title from Sega puts you in control of the Japan national team as they aim for victory in the 1998 FIFA World Cup in France. The game prominently features real Japanese national team players and emphasizes action-packed gameplay where your skill is key to dominating the tournament. It even includes a specific mode allowing you to relive or rewrite history starting from the tense final Asian qualifier match against Iran. Small screenshots provide a glimpse of the on-field action and player perspectives. The game was scheduled for release on June 11th, priced at 5,800 yen. This page is the contents page for SEGA Saturn magazine, dated June 5, 1998, volume 17. The top features the magazine title and publication details. The main content is broken into 3 sections. P18 features an emergency special report titled When Sega Becomes Reality, based on testimonies from Satamaga readers and game industry professionals. Can we see a dream on Sega's new hardware? This is a significant feature exploring the potential and expectations for Sega's upcoming console, likely the Dreamcast, based on insights from the community and industry figures. P28 is a special report packed with the latest information on hot topic games. This section lists several exciting titles covered in this issue, including Sakura Wars 2, Thou Shalt Not Die, Slayers Royal 2, Digital Monster, a tentative title, Friends, Youth of Hope, Black Matrix, Grandia, Digital Museum, Langrisser V, The End of Legend, Momono Monogatari, Revolutionary Girl Utena, Someday We Will Be Revolutionized, Super Real Mahjong P7, Etude Prologue, The Form of a Wavering Heart, Soul Divide, Murakoshi Masami's Explosive Fishing of the Japanese Archipelago, and Ojo-sama. The illustration on the right appears to be Lena Inverse from the Slayers series, likely promoting Slayers Royal 2. Po 102 highlights a super special project celebrating the magazine's milestone, titled How Much Blood, Sweat, Tears, and Laughter Did We Pour Into Putting Out 100 Volumes of Satamaga? This suggests a reflective and celebratory look back at the magazine's history. This page is another contents page from the magazine, detailing the features and articles found within. It highlights several key sections, including upcoming and newly released Sega Saturn titles, along with comprehensive strategy guides for popular games. Among the new releases covered are titles like How to Become a Witch and Super Adventure Rockman, while the Coming Soon section teases games such as Princess Maker, Yumemiru, Yusei, and GT24. For players needing help, there's a complete guide section offering strategies for major titles like Super Robot Wars, Final Chapter, Dragon Force 2, and Shining Force 2 I Scenario 2. A notable feature is the continuation of the creator's biography series, this time focusing on Capcom's Yoshiki Okamoto. The right side of the page provides a comprehensive game index, listing numerous titles alphabetically, many of which were highlighted on the previous contents page, confirming they are prominent features in this issue. This index covers a wide range of genres, from RPGs and strategy games like Grandia, Digital Museum and Langrisser, The End of Legend, to fighting games, simulations, and more. Other sections include regular magazine content like news, reader contributions, columns, reviews, and special articles discussing the evolution of RPGs and the relationship between games and art. An illustration featuring 3 anime characters is present, noted as being related to Super Real Mahjong P7. This page is packed with exciting news for SEGA fans, prominently featuring SEGA Sanshiro and upcoming releases. Get ready for new SEGA Sanshiro merchandise as a preview of a prize collection featuring a variety of goods like plush dolls, t-shirts, and figures, including characters from fan favorites like Sakura Wars 2 and popular anime series, all destined for crane games. In other SEGA news, he's diving headfirst into the world of soccer, with brand new commercials tied to the World Cup excitement. These commercials showcase 2 upcoming soccer games, World Cup 98 France, Road to Win from SEGA, and an intriguing soccer RPG from Enix called Let's Become the Manager of the Japan National Team. Adding to the SEGA frenzy, a remix CD single of his iconic jingle, SEGA Saturn Shiro, is announced for release, featuring multiple tracks. For lucky readers, there's also a chance to win some of the new SEGA prizes being showcased. SEGA fans have a lot to look forward to. A strategy video for Sakura Wars 2, covering the first 7 episodes, releases June 21st, alongside the successful Sakura Wars 2 Song Collection CD, which has sold over 140,000 copies. Studio Pierrot is celebrating its 20th anniversary in Shibuya until May 25th, with an exhibition featuring art from popular anime. Fans of robot anime can anticipate a radio drama based on Mazinkaiser Kaiser from Super Robot Wars Fraying Completed Edition. Compile is running an online promotion for Sorcery Saga with prize opportunities. Additionally, a new trademark law now recognizes 3D objects, and Sonic the Hedgehog is among the first characters registered, protecting their physical likeness. This page features various merchandise and tie-ins related to popular games and anime of the era. The top left highlights the expansion of the Saturn visual novel After School Love Club, now available as an OVA and a novel, extending the story beyond the game itself. The top right showcases new garage kits from Kotobukiya, including figures like Kikaider and Akari Kanzaki, a character popular from Sega's own Virtua Fighter series, demonstrating the crossover appeal of characters into collectibles. Further down, we see novelties like a Sesame Street Elmo-themed kitchen simulation minigame and a keychain soccer game called PB World Soccer, showing how popular characters and sports themes were integrated into small electronic toys. The bottom section lists several music releases, including singles and albums from various artists, some tied to anime like Initial D and games like Roommate, reflecting the interconnectedness of media at the time. There's also a brief correction notice regarding a previous listing for Sora Izumikawa's CD. Overall, the page covers a mix of direct game tie-ins, character merchandise, and related media releases that would appeal to a diverse audience of Sega Saturn fans. This page recommends strategy guides and game books for Sega Saturn owners. Mobile Suit Gundam. Girin's ambition guides are prominently featured, with the perfect guide praised for its balanced strategy, detailed game system coverage, historical context, and inclusion of iconic quotes. Additional guides reviewed cover Let's Make a Professional Baseball Team, Eve, The Lost One, and The House of the Dead. These guides offer a variety of support, including data analysis, walkthroughs, and production materials, demonstrating the depth of support available for diverse Saturn titles. The selection underscores the importance of these resources for maximizing enjoyment and understanding of the games. This page is the weekly data station feature, highlighting the new releases available on the Sega Saturn between May 16th and May 22nd. It notes that Shadows of the Tusk is a particularly eye-catching title this week, praising its versus mode over the CPU battle and hoping for more modem-compatible games in the future. Several games released on May 21st are spotlighted. First up is Baroque, an RPG known for its unique, distorted world ravaged by the Great Heat Wave. The review notes the game's detailed graphics, particularly the impressive lighting effects, and mentions how the structure of the central tower changes with each playthrough. Screenshots show the protagonist in dark, atmospheric environments. Next is Multi-Lancer Reinforce, a simulation game ported with added elements. Players join the GPO police force, managing missions while also having free time for activities like dating. The Saturn version adds more rooms and events, and includes tweaks to the battle system. Screenshots display character art and a strategic battle scene. The page also covers 2 Mahjong titles. Super Real Mahjong P7 is lauded as a model example of a port, featuring new content like a quiz game and special animations, and benefiting from expansion RAM for near-instant loading. Screenshots show the Mahjong table and character illustrations. Idle Mahjong Final Romance 4, the latest in the popular series, includes an arcade mode and focuses on its 4 main female characters, with elaborate item usage and presentations. Screenshots show cheerful character art and Mahjong gameplay. This page presents a comprehensive release schedule for upcoming SEGA Saturn software. It's organized by month and time period, showing titles expected soon, including releases scheduled for May, June, July, and into the future under categories like this summer, this winter, and even next spring. You'll find titles like the final May releases, including Grandia Digital Museum and Revolutionary Girl Utena, followed by June games such as Linda Cube Complete and various simulation and RPG titles. July sees the arrival of fighting games like Pocket Fighter, classic ports like Sega Ages/Galaxy Force 2, and adventure games like Jake Hunter Detective Story. Further out, the schedule teases exciting prospects like Shining Force 2 Eyes Scenario 3 expected this summer, alongside popular series entries such as Digimon and the simulation train game Densha de Go. The page also includes keys explaining the various game genres listed, from action and RPG to simulation and puzzle, and notes compatible peripherals like the mouse, analog stick, or multi-controller. It's a great overview for any Saturn fan looking ahead at the library. This page presents the SEGA Saturn software sales ranking, detailing the top 15 best-selling games. The introductory text suggests that the rush of new spring releases has calmed down, and established, popular titles are expected to continue selling well, with new Saturn titles still on the horizon. The list features a variety of genres, with Super Robot Wars F Final Chapter holding the top spot, followed by Mobile Suit Gundam, Giran's Greed, and Sakura Wars 2. Thou Shalt Not Die in the top 3. Other prominent titles in the ranking include Vampire Savior, The Lord of Vampire, Shining Force 2 Eyes Scenario 2, The Child of God Targeted, Sentimental Graffiti, The House of the Dead, and The King of Fighters 97. Each entry shows its current rank, previous rank, title, publisher, release date, price, genre, estimated weekly sales, and estimated cumulative sales. The page includes screenshots or character art for each game, giving a visual representation of the ranked titles. The ranking highlights the continued popularity of core Saturn franchises and genres like strategy RPGs, simulation games, adventure games, and fighting games, even as the console reaches a later stage in its life cycle. This page delves into reader feedback, first presenting a want to convert list showing the top 20 games SEGA Saturn owners hope to see ported to the console. It highlights a strong desire for major titles from other platforms, with the Final Fantasy series, Marvel vs. Capcom, and the Dragon Quest series leading the requests. The text notes a mixed feeling about the likelihood of some ports, but encourages continued support for the Saturn. Interestingly, it speculates on the possibility of a Radiant Silvergun port, 99%, and Daytona USA 2, 0%? The page then shifts focus to the arcade scene, with the shop data section, ranking the top 15 most popular arcade video games. This list is dominated by fighting and racing titles popular in arcades at the time, including Virtua Fighter 3 TB, Cyber Troopers Virtualon, Oratorio Tangram, and Tekken 3 in the top spots, alongside games like Virtua Striker 2 and Sega Rally 2. The one-point check game section spotlights Asprade, a vertical shooting game from the notable developer team of Atlas and Cave. It describes the game's signature bullet hell style, characterized by slow-moving but numerous bullets. Finally, smaller sections briefly highlight games like Beatmania Second Mix and Downhill Bikers. This page presents the SEGA Saturn Magazine's user data top 30, showcasing the most anticipated upcoming games as voted by readers. Leading the pack at number 1 is Virtua Fighter 3 TB, the arcade update, with a screenshot showing its impressive graphics. Readers are eager to see how closely the Saturn version will match the arcade experience. Claiming the second spot is Lunar 2. Eternal Blue, described as the complete version of the Mega CD classic, generating significant excitement, and its development is noted as 70% complete. Rounding out the top 3 is Grandia Digital Museum, a collection that fans are clearly looking forward to, marked as 100% complete. The Pickup Check game focuses on Slayer's Royal 2, ranked at number 6, highlighting new screen visuals being released. Further down the list, the detective adventure Jake Hunter Detective Story At the End of a Dream is featured at 37th place, celebrating the series' 10th anniversary, with its development also complete. The comprehensive top 30 list itself includes a variety of genres reflecting reader interest, featuring titles from major series like Langrisser V, Phantasy Star Collection, Darkstalkers 3, and Shining Force 2I Scenario 3, alongside simulation games like Derby Stallion and adventure titles. The Other Check, coming soon, section gives a glimpse at other anticipated releases, including the visual novel Friends Shining Youth and Osama game, which features popular idols, indicating a diverse range of software still on the horizon for the Saturn. This page features the SEGA Saturn magazine's Reader's Weekly Race, a ranking of all currently released SEGA Saturn software based on reader votes. This particular ranking marks the 100th installment of the feature, covering a total of 992 Saturn titles released to date. The main content is a long list of games ranked from first place downwards, showing the title, genre, and average reader score. The top spot is held by Sakura Wars 2, Thou Shalt Not Die, scoring an impressive 9.799. Following closely are titles like Super Robot Wars, F Final at number 2, and Mobile Suit Gundam, Giren's Greed at number 3. Showcasing the enduring popularity of strategy and simulation games. Other high-ranking games include Vampire Savior, Darkstalkers 3, Culdicept, and the Shining Force series entries, demonstrating the diverse tastes of the Saturn audience. The list provides a comprehensive look at how readers perceive the existing Saturn library, with scores indicating strong satisfaction with many titles. The special section celebrates the 100th ranking, noting the dominance of spring releases in the top 4, and speculating on future competition. It highlights that Sakura Wars 2 achieved the coveted first place in this milestone edition. The accompanying image and text suggest a discussion about the history and ongoing nature of this reader-driven ranking. This page continues the SEGA Saturn magazine's extensive Reader's Weekly Race ranking, listing more games further down the overall chart based on reader votes. The main focus, however, shifts to introducing and reviewing several new game releases. Featured titles include Riven, the sequel to Myst, praised for its stunning graphics and immersive world design, though acknowledged for challenging puzzles. Another reviewed game is Narrated, a strategy RPG with anime characters that offers deep strategy and high difficulty, although the graphics and sound are noted as somewhat dated. Uno DX presents the classic card game with an added anime-style story mode, deemed enjoyable for fans of Uno. Nobunaga's Ambition. Shousei Roku is highlighted for improving the series' balance, integrating battle and politics smoothly, and featuring a user-friendly interface. Other reviews cover Graduate 2, Wedding Bell, a dating simulation with numerous events and appealing character art, and Zap, Snowboarding Tricks 98, a snowboarding game recognized for its immersive presentation, varied courses, and solid gameplay mechanics despite some polygon issues. Finally, a Japan Pro Mahjong Federation official recognition title, Michibaki, offers various modes and pro data for Mahjong enthusiasts, but is noted for its challenging AI. This section gives readers a look at recent additions to the Saturn library, combining brief critical takes with reader average scores from the ranking. This page continues the SEGA Saturn magazine's Reader's Weekly Race ranking, showcasing more games based on reader votes, descending further down the overall chart. This section lists a wide variety of titles across different genres, reflecting the diverse library available on the Saturn, though these represent games receiving lower average scores from the readers compared to those higher up the list. A small commentary box at the bottom features thoughts from a contributor, possibly commenting on the ranking results or recent submissions. They express interest in the reader's feedback on recent releases, particularly mentioning creator interviews and discussions about new games. The contributor notes their own enjoyment but acknowledges that sometimes things don't go as planned, expressing hope that readers continue to find the content engaging and encouraging them to submit their impressions. This section highlights the interactive nature of the magazine, incorporating reader opinions and feedback directly into the content. This section of the Reader's Weekly Race ranks games below position 692, focusing on reader popularity. The highlight is a review of SEGA Saturn's Burning Rangers. Released in February 1998, it earned a reader score of 9.02 and a magazine score of 8.66. The reviewer raves about its visuals, sound, and engaging 3D action gameplay, emphasizing its replayability due to random stage elements. Reader comments from Tokyo and Fukuoka highlight the game's controls and action, while also suggesting the inclusion of a map feature. The article concludes by looking ahead, anticipating the next console generation, Dreamcast, and speculating on which titles will dominate the future. This page dives into upcoming SEGA Saturn software and reader feedback. It features reviews of 4 different games. First up is Super Tempo, a colorful 2D action platformer rated 6.33, noted for its engaging design and use of BGM. Next is Tennis Arena, a realistic sports sim scoring 5.66, appreciated for its focus on pure tennis gameplay and multiplayer. Savaki, a martial arts fighting game, gets a 6.0, highlighted as a must-play for fans of real-world fighting techniques. Finally, Gal Act Heroism, an anime-style RPG, receives a 7.0, praised for its freedom, quick quests, and enjoyable story despite its visual style. The page also includes reader comments under High-Class Owner's Voice, touching on games like X-Japan Virtual Shock and Des Crimson. There's commentary reflecting on the current era, possibly celebrating a milestone like the 100th reader race or magazine issue, and mentioning popular titles like Sakura Taisen 2. A section lists SEGA Saturn peripherals with their average reader scores, providing insights into popular accessories. The page promotes reader interaction with prediction contests for upcoming games like Multilancer Reinforce and Idol Mahjong Final Romance 4. Details are provided on how readers can participate in the weekly races, submit reviews, and enter to win prizes like memory cards and controllers. This page is a major announcement from SEGA, building anticipation for their next system. The striking image features a progression of SEGA consoles, with the SEGA Saturn prominently displayed at the bottom, symbolizing the transition. Overlaid on this visual history is the powerful message: dreams become reality. The core of the page is the red text, announcing a pivotal moment. May 21, 1998, SEGA announces new generation console. This date marks the official reveal of the SEGA Dreamcast, the successor to the Saturn. It's a significant event, laying out the future of SEGA's hardware strategy. The phrase, "This is cool," visible on the Saturn, likely reflects the excitement and perhaps the internal codename or feeling associated with the upcoming machine. This page is entirely focused on this landmark announcement, setting the stage for SEGA's final home console. This page presents a major emergency feature anticipating and covering SEGA's next-generation console announcement. The large headline plays on the idea of persistent rumors becoming reality, and asks if dreams will be seen on the new machine, foreshadowing the console's name, the Dreamcast. While acknowledging the previous speculation of a late '98 announcement, the main text confirms the official reveal was scheduled for May 21, 1998, following Square's announcement of Final Fantasy Version 2i on May 15. It highlights the excitement surrounding recent releases like Sakura Wars 2 and Super Robot Wars Phi concluded the previous month. The feature delves into different perspectives on this pivotal moment for SEGA. It includes a look back at SEGA's console history, featuring an image of the SEGA Saturn, gathers reader opinions on what they want from the new system, and presents views from various game magazine editors and industry insiders regarding the future developments. A statement from SEGA's then president, Shoichiro Irimajiri, confirms that the announcement on May 21 was about much more than just hardware specifications. It was about evolving the gaming experience into a dream game world. Screenshots scattered across the page offer glimpses of various high-quality Saturn games like Virtua Fighter, Virtual On, and what appear to be racing titles similar to Sega Rally Championship, showcasing the kind of visual fidelity and gameplay Sega was known for, setting the stage for expectations for the new hardware. This page traces Sega's journey in the home console market, detailing the path that led to their new generation machine. It begins with the SG-1000, Sega's first entry in 1983, noting its simultaneous release with a rival console, followed by the Master System, which improved upon its predecessor with enhanced graphics and FM sound, bringing arcade hits like Space Harrier and Fantasy Zone home. The focus then shifts to the 16-bit era, with the Sega Mega Drive, known as Genesis in the West, a powerhouse released in 1987 that dramatically increased Sega's popularity worldwide, especially known for its strong action and shooting game library and excellent arcade conversions. The page highlights Sonic the Hedgehog, the iconic character synonymous with the Genesis era, and a screenshot of his groundbreaking game. It also explores the various hardware expansions and technologies derived from the Genesis, including the Sega CD for CareDrum games, the experimental TerraDrive PC/console hybrid, the Mega Modem for online play, and the 32X add-on that enabled improved graphics and polygons. The Game Gear, Sega's first color portable, is also featured, recognized as being ahead of its time. Finally, it touches upon the SVP chip, which pushed the limits of hardware for titles like Virtua Racing, and the Mega Adapter accessory, discussing the merits of backward compatibility across console generations. This page dives into the Sega Saturn era, introduced as Sega's 32-bit machine, launched in November 1994 for 44,800 yen. It notes the console's shift to CareDrum media and its position as a rival in the new console generation. Key aspects highlighted include the contributions of Sega's internal AM2 division and director Yu Suzuki, particularly with the groundbreaking Virtua Fighter series, which is shown in a screenshot of Virtua Fighter 2, praised for revitalizing the fighting game genre. The page also discusses the success of licensed software, with a screenshot of a vibrant Capcom fighting game demonstrating the strength of third-party support. Further points cover the availability of peripherals, like the Virtua Stick Pro, enhancing the arcade experience, and the potential for online play via the Saturn modem. The page also touches on the ease of porting games from Sega's STV arcade board, exemplified by a screenshot from Dynamite Cop, and the impact of deregulation allowing for more mature content. Finally, a checkpoint section from 1998 reflects on the Saturn's status, mentioning recent high-profile releases like Sakura Wars 2, Mobile Suit Gundam, Giran's Greed, and Super Robot Wars F Final, pondering the console's future amidst evolving market conditions. This page conducts an emergency phone research survey, asking 500 SEGA Saturn magazine readers about their expectations and concerns for the next-generation console. Question 1 focuses on hardware expectations, where users overwhelmingly desire enhanced polygon display capabilities, ideally reaching the level of Sega's Model 3 arcade board. Other points include faster speed, especially load times, and a more compact console size. Question 2 asks about preferred game genres for the new hardware, with arcade ports and RPGs being highly requested, as shown in a pie chart. The page also highlights the desire for specific titles, like Shin Megami Tensei, and popular arcade game ports. A checkpoint section covers desired features and peripherals, with communication capabilities and analog controllers being top requests. Another section dives into rumors and information about the new machine and updates on previously announced Saturn titles. This includes the status of long-awaited games like Virtua Fighter 3, Resident Evil 2, and Machi, noting their uncertain release prospects on the Saturn. Finally, the page discusses the strong likelihood of Sega's cutting-edge Model 3 arcade games being ported to the next system, showcasing potential ports of titles such as Virtua Fighter 3, Daytona USA 2, Scud Race, and Get Bass, implying a significant leap in graphical performance. The overall sentiment reflects users eager for improved graphics and specific arcade experiences on the next console. A survey on the next-generation console revealed strong preferences. Regarding 2D functionality, 87.7% deemed it necessary. CDs were the favored media format at 84.8%, while the price range most desired was 30,000 to 35,000 yen. Feedback to creators included requests for sustained software releases despite initial hardware challenges, improved multimedia features, and clearer content and used game policies. The review section emphasized the desire for a high-fidelity Virtua Fighter 3 port. Rumors and information sources, including online platforms, were discussed. Finally, Square's Final Fantasy Version 2i announcement, along with images of arcade games, was highlighted. The next page features a discussion with the editors-in-chief of Famitsu, Hirokazu Hamamura, and Dengeki Sega Saturn, Makoto Hasegawa, sharing their perspectives on the upcoming generation of gaming hardware and the current industry climate. Hamamura emphasizes that effective distribution is paramount for the success of Sega's new machine, contrasting the modern market with the dominance of the Famicom era. He states, Famitsu will continue to cover all consoles extensively. Hasegawa humorously notes the competitive landscape dominated by PlayStation, and stresses the need for Sega to provide excellent development tools and an environment that attracts a diverse range of developers, especially smaller studios. Both editors agree that securing third-party support and delivering truly innovative, standout software is key to challenging the market leader. They highlight the importance of Sega supporting licensees and improving the development process. Current games like Resident Evil 2 and Tekken 3 are mentioned as part of the market context. This page features interviews with two more magazine editors about the future of Sega's hardware and the current industry. Nakamitsu Tadasuke, editor-in-chief of Great Saturn Z, expresses anticipation for the new hardware but questions if Final Fantasy Version 2 will be the singular driving force, believing success depends on compelling content, not just hardware specs. He discusses the challenge of online gaming and the need to first capture dedicated Mania users before attracting the broader market, drawing parallels to Virtua Fighter's impact on the initial Saturn launch. He notes the current market trend favoring arcade ports and compilations. Below this, Kondo Yuko, editor-in-chief of SEGA Saturn Magazine, emphasizes Sega's history as an innovative company and the crucial need for strong original titles on the new platform, citing the success of games like Sakura Wars in the first. She reflects on the market shift after 1996 and the dominance of PlayStation, highlighting the importance of effective promotion and advertising, even leveraging Sega's diverse assets like arcade centers and karaoke facilities. Kondo stresses that internal coordination across Sega's divisions is essential for a successful launch and for realizing the dream of the new hardware generation. The page includes illustrations related to Sakura Wars and an image featuring the Saturn console. This page features interviews with two more prominent figures in the game industry regarding the future of Sega's hardware. First is Shiozaki Gozo, vice president of Axela and former editor-in-chief of Famitsu. He believes Sega's new hardware shouldn't initially target the younger audience like the PlayStation has, but rather focus on core users. He sees the new features as the key advantage, though widespread adoption might take about a year. Comparing the situation to the 16-bit to 32-bit transition, he notes that while the leap from 2D to 3D was visually clear, the current situation is different with the 32-bit era in decline. He feels success hinges on having two strong launch titles and hardware features that truly appeal to creators, making them feel it's the best platform for their ideas. He doesn't anticipate Final Fantasy V2 having a significant impact on Sega's new machine, as they seem to be heading in different directions. The page also includes commentary from a representative from Chunsoft, highlighting key points about the future. The spec war is considered over, with success depending on features beyond just polygons or graphics quality. While arcade ports, like those from Model 3, are expected, the real demand is for original, compelling software on the new hardware. Finally, hardware that captures the heart of creators, along with robust distribution and support, is seen as essential for success and attracting third-party developers. The page includes photos of the interviewees and the Chunsoft logo. This page features another industry perspective on Sega's upcoming hardware, this time from Watanabe Hiroshi of GTV. He believes that while the new hardware should ultimately appeal broadly, Sega's strength lies in deeply developing software for core enthusiasts, a strategy seen in games like Gran Turismo on PlayStation, which started niche but became huge. He also points to Sega's own All Japan Pro Wrestling as an example of leveraging technical skill for a specific fanbase. Watanabe highlights the potential for communication features, suggesting Sega missed opportunities with past hardware like Divagio. But the infrastructure is still developing. He stresses the need for better collaboration across Sega's various divisions, from arcade to consumer, to maximize their potential. A screenshot from All Japan Pro Wrestling is shown, illustrating his point about leveraging technical prowess for specific genres. The overall review section reflects on the 4 years since the Sega Saturn's launch, and the anticipation surrounding Sega's dream for its next machine, noting that the full strategy is yet unclear, but the potential for creative breakthroughs exists, building on past technical achievements and third-party involvement. This page features a detailed strategy guide for Sakura Wars 2, focusing on the first half of Episode 5. It highlights the game as a dramatic adventure title released by Sega for the Sega Saturn, available on 3 discs, playable by 1 person, and compatible with the shuttle mouse. The game is recommended for all ages. The content delves into the story progression of Episode 5, detailing the events after resolving the train incident and securing financial aid, leading up to a much-anticipated summer break. A significant plot point featured is the unexpected return of Yoneda, the Imperial Theater's manager, who surprises the group with a hot springs trip. Screenshots illustrate key moments and character interactions, including characters like Sumair and Kuran. The page also spotlights the minigames present within the adventure part of the game. It specifically introduces Sumair's minigame, which involves following her elegant steps with a spotlight, and Kuran's minigame, a defensive challenge where you must protect tomatoes from crows using special smoke bombs. Screenshots showcase the gameplay of these minigames. Finally, there's a section soliciting reader submissions like illustrations and anecdotes about playing the game for a fan page titled Tenito Journal. This page presents a detailed strategy guide for the initial free movement phase of Episode 5 in Sakura Wars 2 that outlines the key events and interactions available during the time period between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. The guide highlights 3 significant checkpoint events. The first, occurring between 9 o'clock and 9:25, involves visiting Maria's room on the 2nd floor, where you can examine various items and learn more about her. The second, available from 9:30 to 10 o'clock in the game room on the 2nd floor, triggers the first part of a Maria chain event, centered around memories of playing billiards. The third checkpoint, also from 9:30 to 10 o'clock, takes place in the manager's room on the 1st floor, where you'll find Yoneda and Okegami discussing the upcoming trip and their concerns for the theater, fitting with the context of the hot springs trip mentioned previously. Screenshots throughout these sections show character reactions and the locations. A detailed chart maps out the available locations across the theater's basement, 1st and 2nd floors from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock, indicating where specific events or characters can be found at different times. The supplementary explanation clarifies that certain events, marked with a star, can be triggered early under specific conditions, potentially preventing other events. It also notes that some events are linked in chains, others are minigames, and importantly, time does not advance while experiencing these events, allowing players to explore freely within the time limit. The next page continues the Sakura Wars 2 strategy guide for the Episode 5 free movement period, detailing character-specific events available between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. across various locations. It highlights several checkpoints you can trigger. Between 9 o'clock and 9:25, you can find Koran in the underground armory for the first part of a chain event focusing on the history of the Kubu mechs, or visit Leni in the courtyard where you interact with the dog she's with. Also during this time, visiting Sakura's room on the 2nd floor triggers a chain event where she asks about your favorite color while getting ready. From 9:05 to 9:30, heading to the dressing room in the basement can lead to seeing Kofran in the bath, but be warned, getting caught drastically lowers trust. Later, from 9:30 to 10 o'clock, Kofran appears in the courtyard for a minigame involving driving away crows. During this same time, Lameni can be found in the strategy room, focused on researching geography, highlighting her studious nature even during downtime. Finally, Sakura is in the infirmary, preparing medicine for the trip, where your choice of medicine can lead to a humorous exchange about the Kubu. Screenshots throughout the page show these moments, including Kohran in her Chinese dress and bath towel, Leni with the dog, and Sakura getting ready and in the infirmary. The guide emphasizes the importance of triggering these events, especially the chained ones, to fully experience the episode's content. This guide details character events in Sakura Wars 2 Episode 5 between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. Players can interact with Sumair in her room, preparing luggage, and the library, choosing books to raise trust. Iris is found in the game room, getting cards, and her room, math homework. Orihime is sleeping. Waking her up boosts trust. Kana appears in the kitchen, searching for snacks, her room, training, and the dining hall, a food-eating competition. Successfully completing these events, highlighted by screenshots, is crucial for building character trust and advancing their individual storylines during this free movement phase. This section of the Sakura Wars 2 guide details key events happening between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. The office offers gossip about various rumors. The shop has a shopkeeper. The commander's room requires a specific item to contact Teparito. The courtyard features a lonely dog. The large props room and warehouse events hint at mysteries and characters. A significant event is the monthly chat in Kaid's room, providing background on Ayame and Kaid's past. The entrance is a crucial location between 9:50 a.m. and 10 a.m., with early departure resulting in Kaid's disappointment. These events build relationships, reveal crucial lore, and sometimes require specific items. This page continues the excellent strategy guide for Sakura Wars 2, picking up in Scene 3 as the Flower Division prepares for departure to Atami. The guide highlights the humorous chaos as the team gathers, particularly Ohalagami forgetting his Kobotron unit, and the rush to get ready for the chartered steam bus. With the Flower Division leaving the Imperial Theater, the pressing question arises: who will protect it? This introduces the super-elite, albeit highly eccentric and unofficial, Rose Division, led by the effeminate Shiryuin Kokatone. This quirky trio, including the imposing Ota Yokihiko and the surprisingly delicate Oka Kikunojo, steps up to the task, despite being shunned by the military. The guide also includes a crucial checkpoint section, focusing on the early game steps needed to unlock the combination attack with Maria. It details specific events and dialogue choices that will raise Maria's affection level, such as praising her outfit at Yonita's party, or successfully playing billiards with her in the game room. These seemingly minor interactions are essential building blocks for powerful moves later on, and the guide notes Maria's dialogue here as a departure from her character in the previous game. The guide promises more strategies in the next issue. This page delves into the stunning animation of Sakura Wars 2, featuring an interview with the staff from Production I.G, the renowned studio behind the game's animated sequences. The focus here is on the challenging yet successful integration of 2D characters and 3D mechs, such as the powerful Kubukai. The developers explain their goal to seamlessly merge the hand-drawn 2D world with 3D elements, highlighting how they specifically work to make the 3D mechs blend naturally, for example, by carefully controlling their glare to avoid them looking unnatural next to the 2D characters. They also discuss using deformation techniques in the 3D animation to create more dynamic and impactful movement, preventing the overly smooth, often static look that early 3D animation could have, thus achieving the vibrant energy characteristic of anime. The page also provides a basic overview of the digital animation production process used for the game, detailing the steps from initial scenario and storyboarding through drawing, scanning, coloring, compositing, adding effects, and final editing. This offers a glimpse into the complex workflow required to bring these impressive animated scenes to life, demonstrating the technical skill and artistry that went into making Sakura Wars 2 a visual standout. The next page continues the deep dive into the animation of Sakura Wars 2, dedicating itself to the staff who made the stunning sequences possible. Featuring members from both Production I.G and SEGA, the page introduces the key creatives behind the anime segments. You'll see profiles and brief comments from the animation director, 3D director, and overall animation director from Production I.G, along with SEGA staff involved in the project's direction and production. They touch upon the sophisticated digital effects used, building on the technical discussions, and the challenges of seamlessly blending 2D characters with 3D elements, like the Kubukai mechs. The staff express their hopes that players will appreciate the immense effort and detail packed into the lengthy animated portions of the game. This page serves as a tribute to the talented team responsible for Sakura Wars 2's standout visual presentation. This page is all about the highly anticipated sequel, Slayers Royal 2. It's a big feature announcing the next entry in the popular RPG series based on the Slayers franchise. You see the main heroines, Lena Inverse and Naga the Serpent, prominently displayed, looking ready for action. The article highlights that this game builds upon the previous Slayers Royal title released on Saturn, bringing back fan favorite Naga, who was notably absent from the first game. It also mentions the inclusion of original characters, and confirms that the game is being developed under the watchful eye of the original author. Screenshots show the game's isometric perspective for exploration and battle scenes, along with character portraits used during dialogue sequences. The report emphasizes that the game is significantly powered up compared to its predecessor, promising improvements in both combat and adventure segments. A special report section gives us the essential details. It's being handled by Kadokawa Shuten, and especially aiming for a release sometime within the year. It confirms the genre is RPG, designed for single player, and indicates the game is currently 60% complete. The overall tone is one of excitement for the return of the Slayers gang in a new, enhanced RPG adventure. This page dives deeper into the updated battle system for Slayers Royal 2. While the top-down perspective remains familiar from the previous game, significant changes have been implemented. The biggest shift is from the semi-sequential time system to a more traditional turn-based combat, where allies and enemies take turns based on the situation, not just the time bar. A new dedicated movement command is introduced, allowing more strategic positioning on the battlefield. The game also incorporates terrain elevation, which affects movement and tactics. To help players navigate the new three-dimensional space, the field can now be rotated a full 360 degrees, making it easier to assess positions and plan moves. Obstacles are no longer just static barriers. Characters like Lina and Naga can jump over or climb over them. For more imposing obstacles, destruction with magic is an option. Magic casting still requires time, similar to the first game, but a new radar feature is shown, overlaying the battlefield to clearly display a spell's area of effect before it's cast, adding a layer of tactical planning. The article highlights how even familiar spells like Naga's Mega Brand have been powered up, now destroying everything around the caster instead of just in a straight line. This page shifts focus from the battles to the adventure part of Slayers Royal 2, highlighting significant upgrades. The biggest visual change is the dynamic town environment, which now transforms depending on the time of day, with scenes shown for day, evening, night, and deep night. This evolution adds a layer of realism and suggests different events and encounters might occur at different times. Time can be advanced by resting at an inn or using a specific command. The visuals for the adventure segments are described as high grade, reaching a level of beauty akin to postcards, thanks to the adoption of a high-resolution mode. This enhances the feeling of exploration and sightseeing, which the game encourages, allowing players to soak in the world rather than just rushing through. Fans will be happy to see familiar faces returning, including Guri and Amelia, who were companions in the previous game. Other key characters like Zelgadis and Zelos are also present, along with Naga the Serpent, who retains her iconic presence. Intriguingly, the article hints at the appearance of characters from the movie Slayers Return, specifically mentioning Galev, adding anticipation for who else might show up, possibly including Martina. The focus on character interactions and the freedom to explore suggests the adventure portions are just as important as the combat. This page provides an update on the SEGA Saturn version of Digital Monster, confirming its development is progressing smoothly towards a September release. This title brings the popular keychain digital pet experience to the console, maintaining the core monster-raising simulation gameplay. However, the Saturn version significantly expands upon the original, with new features. Players can now raise multiple Digimon simultaneously, and the game includes network battle support, adding a competitive element beyond the simple infrared battles of the original toy. The graphics feature detailed character coloring, enhancing the visual presentation. Screenshots showcase the game's interface, including battle scenes featuring Skull Greymon and Kabutoraemon, confirming their inclusion from the original Digital Monster. Ver. 2. An evolution chart for Koromon is also shown, detailing its potential growth stages from baby to perfect. The page is rounded out with a vibrant illustration, featuring a collection of various popular Digimon characters. The game is confirmed as a single-player raising simulation recommended for all ages, with the price yet to be determined. This page continues the guide to becoming a Digimon tamer in the SEGA Saturn game, providing essential information for players. It details the function of key interface icons, including the training menu for creature care like feeding and training, the application icon for accessing network features and getting detailed Digimon information, the training folder for managing your raised monsters, and the trash can for discarding items. The page also features a beginner's lecture on Digimon, explaining their life stages from baby to perfect, and illustrating evolution with the line from Botamon through Koromon, Agumon, and Greymon to Metal Greymon. It highlights that battling is crucial for evolving your Digimon. Finally, the page previews some of the Digimon confirmed to appear in the Saturn version, featuring characters from the original Digital Monster Ver 1 and Ver 2, such as Botamon, Betamon, Seadraemon, Greymon, Numamon, Tyrannomon, and Metal Greymon, hinting at the inclusion of additional or even new original Digimon. This page continues the guide to becoming a skilled Digimon tamer, focusing on the practical aspects of raising your digital monsters. It emphasizes that mastering training is key to developing powerful Digimon, illustrating techniques like rope skipping and sandbag practice. Proper care is also highlighted as essential. Neglecting your Digimon's needs, such as feeding and hygiene, will result in them becoming weak. The guide then delves into the network features of the game. Players can connect to the network to find valuable Digimon information, check mail and bulletin boards, and even download items. Accessing the Digimon World site appears to be a primary hub for this. A particularly intriguing feature discussed is sending your Digimon out to explore the network. They can potentially discover valuable items, electronic money, or even unique programs, but sending a Digimon with low parameters risks injury. Screenshots across the page showcase the various interfaces for training, care, accessing mail, visiting websites, and the network exploration results screen, where a file was successfully found. The page features illustrations of Digimon like the menacing Devimon and a smaller, exploring Digimon, demonstrating the breadth of creatures and activities players will encounter. This page features a striking pencil sketch and the prominent title, 3 years later. The accompanying article discusses a project titled Friends, delving into themes of youth, memories, and the excitement of revisiting the past or experiencing adolescence. It highlights a new original drawing by artist Tohuru Mizutani for this project, emphasizing the beauty of the monochrome line art. The article notes that the project involves characters reuniting after a 3-year gap, with the narrative focusing on their interactions and development during this time. It specifically points out that players should observe how the female characters have changed over these 3 years. The lower part of the page includes a vibrant color illustration of a character, likely from the Friends project, showing a girl with green hair and glasses, seated casually. This page continues the discussion of the project introduced on the previous page, confirming it is a game titled Friends. The large title reads, "I wanted to meet you, the sparkle of youth," emphasizing the romantic and nostalgic themes. The page is filled with beautiful character illustrations by Tohuru Mizutani, depicting the game's cast in various settings like a school library and a tennis court, fitting with the narrative of youth and possibly reunions. A prominent sketch also highlights the distinctive art style. A significant technical detail revealed is the game's compatibility with the 1MB and 4MB expansion RAM cartridges, a feature previously seen in fighting games on the Saturn. The developers state this support is decided and will significantly shorten loading times, especially during scene transitions and character appearances, although they note the game runs smoothly even without the expansion RAM. Classified as a romance adventure, Friends is scheduled for release in the summer by Fairy Tail and NEC Interchannel, with the price still undecided. This page provides a strong visual look at the game and confirms key technical features. The Saturn game Dusukai centers around a class reunion at Pension Blue Forest. The gameplay loop revolves around exploring the location and interacting with characters, particularly the girls. Players arrive at the pension, triggering the start of free time and introductions to various characters, including the tennis club members. Key mechanics involve navigating a map to locate characters, with time passing as you move between locations like the pension and Hoshizato Kojin. While the map initially doesn't reveal specific characters' identities, conversations offer hints. An interior map of the pension aids in pinpointing characters by room. The goal is to meet the girls throughout the 6-night, 7-day reunion, with time management being a crucial aspect of gameplay, as actions consume time and are limited. This page delves into the events of the first day of the reunion in the SEGA Saturn game Dusukai, focusing on the arrival of characters and the shifting emotional dynamics. The page features sketches and full-color illustrations of the characters and setting, including a sketch of Shizuka holding a glass and color art of Natsuko by the river, and with the protagonist Ryosuke. The text confirms Natsuko's arrival, stating she managed to join the reunion thanks to Ryosuke, adding to the lively atmosphere introduced on the previous page. However, it quickly highlights Shizuka's noticeably downcast mood. It's revealed she seems troubled by something from her middle school days, perhaps related to a past event where she didn't participate in a big match, making her feel unable to face others. Despite this, the narrative emphasizes the group's warm welcome towards her. The first day of the reunion draws to a close successfully, with a hint that more characters who haven't appeared yet will feature prominently from the second day onwards, building anticipation for further interactions and story developments. The text analyzes the girls' psychological states during the first day of a Dusukai reunion. Shizuka appears reserved, perhaps confronting her past detachment from club activities. Midori, despite breaking up with Yosuke, still exhibits lingering feelings for him, illustrating the complexity of love. Kamei secretly harbors feelings for the protagonist, whose potential actions are questioned. Natsuko, a high school girl with an interest in Ryosuke, is portrayed with a nuanced perspective, acknowledging her maturity despite her youthful appearance. A game progression checkpoint suggests focusing on character events starting from the second day and seeking Yosuke's guidance. Various character screenshots and artwork, including scenes of Shizuka, Midori, Kaie, and Natsuko, visually accompany these insights. This page features a large sketch of Natsuko, titled Natsuko's Smile. The accompanying text delves into her expression, contemplating whether her smile while gazing at the starry sky with the protagonist is simply her natural demeanor, reflecting her pure nature despite her age, or if it's specifically because she's sharing the moment with him. The author finds the true meaning of her smile remains a mystery. Below the main image, the page highlights merchandise for the Friends series, which is common for dating simulation games. Specifically, it introduces Friends Pub mirrors, featuring 8 different designs for the 8 girls appearing in the main game. These mirrors were showcased at a game show held in the spring, suggesting they were anticipated by fans. The text also notes that more Friends-related merchandise is scheduled for release, encouraging readers to keep an eye out for future information. A small color image of a character in a swimsuit, possibly also from the series, is included in this section, along with framed examples of the mirror designs. This page provides an update on the development of the simulation RPG Black Matrix, which is nearing completion. The developers are currently in the polish phase, focusing on improving playability and adding more impactful presentation elements now that the system's core is established. The article highlights changes aimed at making the game easier to play, including clearer control explanations visible during gameplay. A significant new element is the inclusion of various minigames, framed as rehabilitation activities for the protagonist who suffered a major injury. These minigames, such as guessing the number of rats, are shown with screenshots and seem designed to add variety and potentially boost character stats or recovery. The update also teases events and characters from different chapters of the game, including the introduction of new party members and antagonists, hinting at the unfolding story and character interactions. The game is slated for a summer release by NEC Interchannel and is classified as a simulation RPG suitable for all ages. The article concludes by noting that the voice cast will be revealed later, encouraging readers to anticipate who might be voicing the characters. This page reveals the voice cast for the upcoming simulation RPG Black Matrix, fulfilling the tease from the previous page. Several main characters and their voice actors are highlighted, along with some of their notable roles from other games and anime. Featured voice actors include Noriko Hidaka voicing Domina, Yuko Miyamura voicing Michette, Yoshitaka Yama voicing Prague, Mika Kanai voicing Pulika, Junko Iwao voicing Courage, Hikaru Midorikawa voicing Piripo, Ai Orikasa voicing March, and Hisako Kyuda voicing Lupi Lupi. Their previous roles span popular series like Neon Genesis, Evangelion, Asuka Langley Sohryu, Makoto Hyuga, Detective Conan, Ran Muri, Ranma 1/2, Akane Tendo, Gundam series, Tifa Adil, Quatre Raberba winner, and Ah, My Goddess, Belle Dandy. The page notes that casting for other characters is also progressing. It discusses the importance of voice acting in bringing the game's world and characters to life, and suggests that the chosen cast, which includes many veterans, reflects the need for skilled performances to convey the game's themes and dialogue. There's a sense of anticipation about how these experienced actors will interpret the characters and their lines, especially considering the unique dialogue hinted at for some characters. Screenshots from the game, including combat scenes and dialogue portraits, accompany the voice actor reveals, giving a glimpse of the characters and the game's presentation. This page provides a strategic look at Grandia. Digital Museum, a dungeon-crawling spin-off released on May 28 for 3,500 yen. It's described as a game where players explore dungeons to find items that can be contributed to a museum, unlocking bonus content. The focus is on tackling the dungeons. The gameplay is similar to the main Grandia game, but notably lacks the map icon, requiring players to navigate carefully. 2 specific dungeons are highlighted: the Norsa Ruins and a military base. Magic is available from the start, which should ease the challenge, though saving up for better gear is advised. Seeing everything in the game's theater mode will require a significant amount of in-game currency, listed at 120,000 grams. The page features initial status data for the main characters, likely Justin, Fina, and Sue, showing their starting stats and the spells and skills they can use early on. It also includes a shop list detailing various weapons, armor, items, and special tickets available for purchase, along with their prices and effects, essential information for preparing for dungeon exploration. This title offers a unique blend of action RPG dungeon crawling and collection elements tied into the beloved Grandia universe. This page delves into the first dungeon encountered in Grandia, Digital Museum, the Norsa Ruins. It's highlighted as the initial area accessible from the Sky Bridge, and is noted for being surprisingly extensive despite its appearance, suggesting players might face some challenges. The magazine strongly advises saving your progress in the Earth floor room once you clear a floor. The page provides maps for the various floors within the ruins. The Earth floor, the Central Chamber of Darkness, the Moon floor, the Star floor, and the Sun floor. Each map marks locations where valuable items can be found, corresponding to lists provided on the page. These lists include useful items like the Buster Axe, Light Blade, Jet Boots, various seeds to boost stats, recovery items, money, and even lore items like stone tablets and film. Key locations like save points and deposit boxes are also marked on the map. Before venturing into the dungeon itself, there's a small section urging players to first explore the Skybridge area, as a couple of hidden items are located there. Finally, the page introduces the dungeon's boss, the Magic Baron. It provides details on his HP for different parts, body, head, staff, lists his special attacks like lightning and various beams, and details the rewards for defeating him, including experience, money, and the magical rod weapon. This guide offers essential navigation and item collection strategies for tackling the Norse ruins effectively. This guide explores new dungeons in Grandia Digital Museum. It provides directions and item locations in a corridor potentially linked to the Dark Room, including an iron whip and gold. The Lava Valley is next, featuring the Arc Dragon boss, a creature with separate head and body HP and powerful attacks. Defeating it grants significant rewards. The guide also maps the area and item locations, plus the path to the museum hall. An enemy data list is included, detailing foes like Bone Lords, Drone Zombies, and Burst Wolves, including their HP and abilities. Finally, the military base is detailed, from its easy entrance to the challenging fights against Chan Commander and Great Berserkers. Maps for Blocks 1 and 2 mark item locations like Boxer Boots and the Stone Tablet 6, and highlight save points and paths to other areas like the General's Room. The guide notes the limited money dropped by soldiers. This page continues the exploration of Grandia Digital Museum's unique dungeons. It features detailed maps for several distinct areas, the Lightning Star Room, Desert Moon Room, and Bloody Rose Room, showing multiple floors and numbered points indicating item locations. The General's Room is also mapped, along with the Katil Room, which the guide notes becomes accessible only after obtaining a Platinum card in the Geo's Tower rooftop area. Brief item lists are provided for each dungeon section, including currency pickups, healing items, armor like the battlesuit, and key items like Stone Tablet 3 and Monster Book 8. The General's Room even holds a Game Coin 3. A significant part of the page is dedicated to an enemy data list, showcasing portraits and stats for various foes encountered in these challenges. This includes regular enemies like the Great Beret, Mio-Chemistry Team, and Mechanic Haniwa, alongside several boss characters such as Sergeant Chan, Saki, Nana, the three daughters, Pearl and Child, and the powerful Kadil King and Titan Toad. The list provides details like HOP, experience, gold, and special abilities for each enemy, offering crucial strategy insights for players tackling these tough encounters. This page presents a special report on Langrisser V, The End of Legend, a simulation RPG developed by Messiah, noted as 98% complete and releasing on June 18th. The main focus is on the game's battle system, highlighted by the headline, "This is V's battle scene." The preview showcases the intense battle animations and improved visual effects for magic compared to previous entries. Multiple screenshots illustrate different combat scenarios, including clashes between various unit types like Pike versus Lancer Commander, Fighter versus Villager, and Protagonist Sigma versus Pike, as well as Lambda versus Infantry Commander. The captions describe the flow of combat, unit interactions, and the visual representation of buffs like the attack spell. The report emphasizes the dynamic nature of the battles and the impact of character-specific magic and summons expected later in the game. This page reveals new character illustrations for Langrisser V, The End of Legend. 4 key characters are showcased: Emily, Azrael, Lambert, and Alvins. The text notes that, with the exception of Emily, these characters have already appeared in the story introductions, serving as unique individuals who support the main character. It specifically highlights that Emily, who did not have an illustration in Langrisser IV, has been newly drawn, suggesting she will play a more significant role in this installment. Emily is described as the lost sister of Langrisser IV protagonist Randy U.S., now an adjutant in the Federation who has unknowingly fought against him. Azrael is a mercenary captain and subordinate of Rainforth's. Lambert is a regional lord, father of General Lanford, and an old friend of Alfred. Alvins is the ambitious and twisted heir of the Rockwell family, and Alfred's older brother. Additionally, there's a section titled Mysteries of Langrisser vs. Part 4, which delves into a poem featured in the opening demo, stating that the antagonist Gizelov has researched ancient legends to uncover truths hidden within this verse. The poem itself is included. This page gives us a first look at the opening event for the latest entry in the Mado Monogatari series, known for its connection to the Puyo Puyo universe. The game is making a significant shift from its traditional 3D dungeon crawler format to a field-type RPG. The preview, following last week's prologue, focuses on the game's early stages, showing protagonist Pile venturing out to buy ingredients. Arl encounters a kamishibai, paper play, performance in the town square, drawing a crowd of children. The story presented is a classic tale of a hero battling a demon king, but it ends abruptly, just as the hero faces peril, leaving the audience, especially the children, disappointed. Intrigued, Arl questions the performer about the continuation, only to learn the rest of the story hasn't been created yet. While initially let down, Arl discovers that the content of this unfinished tale ties directly into her own upcoming adventure, hinting that she will play a crucial role in bringing the story to completion. The report notes the game is 75% complete, is a compile RPG, supports one player, is recommended for all ages, and is planned for a summer release in Japan for 5,800 yen. Screenshots showcase Arl in a town environment, a tactical battle screen, and an overworld map, demonstrating the new field exploration style. This page delves into the upcoming Mado Monogatari RPG, focusing on the companions Arcale will meet on her journey and some support characters. We see familiar faces from the Puyo Puyo universe joining the party, including the strong-willed Rulyu, known for her fighting prowess despite lacking magic, and Schizo Wegi, the rival magic user who is strangely behaving. Minotaurus, usually Rulyu's loyal servant, is also featured, hinted to be undergoing some change related to the demon world. Battle screenshots showcase these characters in action, including a move called Iriado, and Minotauro's Beef Shock. Beyond the main party, the page introduces helpful support characters who won't travel constantly, but will provide aid. These include Panati, an elf boy who can recover HP with his flute music, Highflower, a plant-like creature who helps organize information, and the Ukami Shonen, Wolf Boy, who despite his reputation for lying, provides useful information via his reliable diary. Finally, a section introduces the Puyo card minigame, described as looking like a card game similar to Speed, but featuring Puyo Puyo characters. This seems to be a side activity players can engage in. Overall, this page provides a good look at the returning cast and some new faces joining Arlie in her new field-based RPG adventure. This page features a special report on the SEGA Saturn adventure game Revolutionary Girl Utena. Someday, My Revolution Will Come. Published by SEGA, this title is designed for one player and is recommended for all ages. Coming on a 2-disc set created by the original anime staff, the game promises a perfect world for passionate Utena fans, offering various endings. The report highlights the game's ultimate scenario, which the staff put great effort into developing. It follows a classic 4-part structure: introduction, development, turn, conclusion, and notably includes romantic elements, allowing players to build relationships with different characters. The article includes insights from scenario writer Ichiro Okuchi and someone discussing character ideas, emphasizing the charm and depth of the game's story. Screenshots and character illustrations are featured, showcasing key figures like Utena Tenju, Anthy Himemiya, Akio Okatori, Tuga Kiryu, and Juri Arisugawa, as well as a scene featuring the student council members having dinner. The game aims to provide a rich, interactive narrative experience within the Utena universe. The article discusses the development of the Revolutionary Girl Utena game. Someday My Revolution Will Come. Scenario writer Ichiro Okuchi and SEGA director Kazunori Yamaji reveal significant content was cut, including a body swap episode and a ukulele mystery, to streamline the narrative. The game incorporates humorous choices that lead to varied outcomes, allowing players to influence Utena's journey and relationships. The creators are pleased with how the game format enabled exploration of the Utena universe beyond the anime and novels. The page also features profiles of key staff and character art, along with explanations, to provide context for the game's development. This page offers a final look at the Revolutionary Girl Utena game before its release, highlighting its appeal and simple system, making it accessible even to those new to adventure games or the Saturn console. The core gameplay is a branching adventure, where player choices influence the story's progression and ending. A significant element is the nobility of heart parameter, which changes based on decisions, and ultimately determines the path taken. This parameter is crucial for reaching different final routes. The game puts players in the shoes of a new protagonist experiencing 4 days at Otori Academy. The story develops around this character and Utena. A mysterious new character, Chigusa-san Join, joins on the second day. The page features screenshots showing dialogue scenes, classroom settings, and the status screen displaying the nobility of heart values for various characters, including Utena. A bonus trading card is also mentioned as an appendix. The preview delves into the opening days of the revolutionary girl Utena SEGA Saturn game. Players, starting as a transfer student, navigate Otori Academy. Choices influence the unfolding narrative, with the nobility of heart parameters shaping the story's direction. Key early game events include Anthy's slapping incident and joining Utena's class on Day 2, leading to suspicion at a masquerade ball. Day 3 offers freedom, allowing players to visit clubs like fencing or kendo to meet characters. After-school activities include town visits and interactions at cafes and game centers, with characters like Utena, Anthy, and others. Day 4 focuses on relationship development and post-school events. The preview also highlights a bonus item, a setting material collection with production art. Additionally, there's a call for a fan page and a feature on the official guidebook cover art by Shinya Hasegawa. This page features Super Real Mahjong P7, the 7th entry in the long-running stripping mahjong series by SETA. The visuals include vibrant anime artwork of the game's heroines, both in suggestive poses and school uniforms, along with a screenshot of the mahjong game interface showing one of the characters looking surprised during a match. The report highlights that the game is already on sale, confirming it's a table game with an 18+ age recommendation and is for single players only. The article celebrates the series' longevity, being over 10 years since the first game, and praises it for consistently delivering quality stripping mahjong titles that are always a step ahead. A key feature this time is an interview with the character designer, Ryo Tanaka, offering intriguing insights into the series that reading will enhance your enjoyment of the game. There's also commentary on the issue's cover illustration, noting it was created on a Macintosh, with particular attention paid to the detail on one character's skirt. The artist explains they considered the placement of text while drawing. A side note mentions an alternate version featuring a different character was considered but wasn't used, with an apology to fans of that character. The caption for the mahjong screenshot humorously touches upon the dramatic moments of play, the heroines' varied expressions, and their serious commitment, because losing means they have to strip. This page turns the spotlight onto Mahjong Shio Heart for the SEGA Saturn, explicitly touting its biggest fun factor residing in the special animation sequences. Continuing the trend of anime mahjong titles, this game clearly aims to deliver on the visual front. The main artwork showcases 2 of the game's heroines in a close embrace, setting the tone. Featured prominently are profiles for several characters, each accompanied by suggestive illustrations hinting at scenarios outside the mahjong parlor. We have Sarika in a steamy hot spring scene, Natsuki enjoying a day at the beach, Yurina captured in a particularly questionable underwater camera angle at the pool, and Atsuko, whose mahjong loss results in a punishment game involving cleaning a car in her swimsuit. These glimpses underscore the game's focus on fan service and character interactions beyond standard gameplay, highlighting the distinct special animations promised for the Saturn release. This page features an interview with Ryo Tanaka, described as the parent of charming characters, discussing the creation of heroines for the Super Real Mahjong series. The discussion delves into how the characters were born, the philosophy behind their designs, and production secrets now revealed for fans. A notable section titled, "Big Things Are Good Things," focuses on the development of the heroines, specifically addressing the topic of character bust sizes throughout the series. Tanaka shares that while drawing, he didn't always consciously focus on size, but he did specifically intend to make Etsuko larger. The page also includes a small feature dedicated to Etsuko Toyohara, highlighting her popularity despite being a sub-character. It details the condition to challenge her. Defeating 4 opponents makes her strength double, and mentions her status as a hidden character. Etsuko's quote, "Please go easy on me," is included, hinting at her nature. The images also showcase other heroines, like Sarika, Natsuki, and Yurina, with a focus on Yurina and a comment on her strength being average, despite a claim of being bad at mahjong. This deep dive into character specifics and design choices aligns with the series' focus on its cast and the visual appeal highlighted on the previous page. This page continues the discussion around Super Real Mahjong P7, featuring an interview with character designer Ryo Tanaka. Tanaka shares insights into the game's development, stating he took on many roles himself, leaving no room for escape. The interview delves into character creation and highlights points of interest in the game. The page also presents a profile for the character Mari Kurihara, detailing her personal stats and hobbies. Additionally, there's a section of notes explaining aspects of the game, including character transformations, a mention of the Etsupar's Club fan club, and a specific focus on service scenes, particularly Etsuko's white swimsuit requirement. Finally, there's a big present campaign offering fans a chance to win valuable items like hand-drawn signed illustration boards, posters featuring swimsuit artwork, and telephone cards. The application details for the illustration boards specifically ask applicants to express their love for the chosen heroine, making it clear the developers value fan passion. The next page features a special report on the adventure game Etude Prologue, scheduled for release in 1998. This game puts players in the shoes of high school students nearing graduation, exploring their future paths, friendships, love, and the myriad possibilities that lie ahead. The core concept revolves around the changing shapes of the heart as graduation approaches. Players begin by choosing one of two protagonists, Saeki Hitomi or Gunji Tatsuya, effectively deciding their perspective on the story. This choice influences not only relationships, but also available skills and abilities. Gameplay centers around the period leading up to graduation, starting with an initial information gathering period. During this time, players use action points each day to learn more about the people around them and the events unfolding, which is crucial for future interactions and achieving desired outcomes. The page includes examples illustrating how gathering information can lead to success or conversation with other characters. Screenshots showcase the in-game interface, displaying character profiles with details like name, age, stats, hobbies, personality, and club affiliations, highlighting the depth of character interaction and simulation within the game. This page features an interview with Maria Yamamoto, the voice actress for Saeki Hitomi in the game Etude Prologue. She discusses her experience voicing the protagonist and how she approached the role. The page also highlights her debut album, Mitswami. The special report on Etude Prologue continues, detailing the gameplay mechanics following the initial information gathering phase. Section 3 covers the actions phase, starting from February 1st, where players actively engage with other characters and events using action points. This phase is crucial for developing the protagonist's abilities and relationships in the adventure game format. Screenshots illustrate the game's interface, including potential message/email elements and menus for character training and emotion, showing systems for managing character stats and relationships. Section 4, titled "And Then," describes the ending phase. The game features multiple endings that depend on the player's actions and choices made during the preceding phases, particularly influencing the protagonist's future path and relationships with other characters. A character illustration is also featured, possibly one of the potential love interests, or the other protagonist. The report emphasizes how player decisions shape the narrative outcomes leading up to graduation. This page continues the look at Etude Prologue, shifting focus to introduce the game's main characters. It features detailed character profiles, each accompanied by portraits and brief descriptions. The central element is a relationship diagram, visually mapping out the connections between the protagonist and the diverse cast of characters, showing roles like childhood friend, family members, classmates, and teachers. This diagram illustrates the complex web of relationships players will navigate throughout the game, highlighting how characters interact and influence each other. The character descriptions provide insight into their personalities and backgrounds, setting the stage for the various narrative paths and potential endings influenced by player choices, as discussed on the previous page. This page continues the introduction to Etude Prologue, focusing on the game's cast. It features a relationship diagram centered around the protagonist, illustrating the intricate web of connections with other characters through various labels like best friend, unrequited love, and confidant. This visual guide helps players understand the potential interactions and narrative paths. Additionally, the page provides profiles for the main characters, complete with portraits and concise descriptions detailing their personalities, roles, and backgrounds. These profiles include friends, family members, and classmates, offering insight into the diverse individuals who populate the protagonist's world and whose relationships will be shaped by the player's decisions throughout the game. Soul Divide, by the Power of Sword and Magic, is a fantasy shooter that combines flying action with sword combat and magic. Players battle mythical creatures using basic attacks, magic spells, and special moves. Sword attacks offer continuous damage through combos, while magic spells are powerful but limited. Special attacks have varying effectiveness depending on enemy weaknesses. The game's scoring system rewards aggressive play and continuous sword attacks, with combo-ending hits significantly increasing scores. 2 playable characters are highlighted. Kashun, a high-speed sword user ideal for beginners due to his wide attack range, and Tiora, a grand mage with strong magic abilities and faster MP recovery, though her physical attacks are weaker. This page continues the coverage of Soul Divide, by the Power of Sword and Magic. Introducing the third playable hero, Vow. He's a former holy knight, driven by revenge, relying heavily on his demon sword for powerful weapon attacks, though he's also capable with magic. The page delves into the game's magic system, which is presented as a powerful tool for heroes. While incredibly effective, magic use requires MP, and some potent spells like Meteor, Heat Body, and Death are limited to 1 use per magic book collected. Screenshots showcase the visual impact of spells like Meteor, Freeze, which stops enemy movement, and Thunder, which deals significant damage, less effective on certain enemy types like skeletons. The table details many of the spells available. Most are usable by all characters, but some, such as Phoenix for Kashun, Nightmare for Vow, and Summons for Tiora, are character-specific. The special magic section highlights that these unique spells are among the game's most powerful, requiring careful consideration of when and where to unleash them, but they are definitely worth using when acquired. Mastering the strategic use of this varied magic arsenal, alongside weapon combat, is key to becoming a true hero in Soul Divide. This page continues the coverage of the Soul Divide, by the Power of Sword and Magic Saturn port, focusing on the newly confirmed Original Mode. This mode offers a fresh experience compared to the arcade version, featuring a different stage structure. While the arcade mode had a linear progression of 15 stages, the original mode presents unique starting points and branching paths for each protagonist. Vaf's journey begins at Silverna Castle, leading to Matium Imperial Capital. Kashuon starts at the forest city Narafe and proceeds to Pandion Castle. Tiora begins at the Temple of Light Ranfos, with her later path details yet to be fully revealed. The page also introduces a formidable new enemy awaiting the heroes, Chromoa, a sorcerer serving as a military advisor to the demon king Iftar. Described as an ambitious but cautious strategist, Chromoa is depicted alongside a mysterious creature, suggesting he may command summoned monsters. Screenshots showcase gameplay from the original mode, highlighting combat in various environments, and a scene that seems to involve narrative elements, or the acquisition of items, distinct from the arcade experience. This page features Bakuchu Nihon Retu, a fishing simulation game for the SEGA Saturn. It's highlighted as balancing realism with entertainment, making it appealing to both beginners and seasoned players. The game boasts 11 fishing locations across Japan, where you can aim to catch 25 different types of fish. The appeal comes from its realistic graphics and the dynamic feel of fighting a hooked fish. A key feature is the unique balance, where easier fish can be caught simply, but target species require genuine technique and knowledge, mirroring real-life fishing challenges. Professional fisherman Sekai Murakoshi supervised the game, offering advice that's integrated into the gameplay, making it educational and potentially useful for actual fishing. The environments are based on real locations, using aerial movies and photo backgrounds to enhance the immersive experience. Players manage tackle and can purchase new lures, using points earned from successful catches, adding a strategic layer to the game. The page teases a special interview with Mr. Murakoshi and the game's producer, Mr. Yokoi, on the following page. This page features a heated discussion about the fishing simulation game Bakuchu Nihon Retu, involving the game's supervisor, professional fisherman Sekai Murakoshi, and the game's producer, Mr. Yokoi. The interview delves into the charm of fishing games compared to real-life fishing. Mr. Murakoshi, previously known mainly for sea bass fishing, discusses his transition to being an all-rounder in the context of the game, which offers a wide variety of fish species. A key appeal highlighted is the ability to take risks in the game that would be too costly in reality, such as casting lures very close to submerged obstacles, which is essential for catching fish, but risky for losing expensive gear in real life. The discussion also touches upon the selection of fish species included in the game, ranging from popular choices to difficult-to-catch ones like bluefin tuna, kuro maguro, which adds excitement. The page includes a profile of Mr. Murakoshi and a photo of him and Mr. Yokoi. Ultimately, the core message is that fishing games allow players to boldly challenge themselves in ways that might be too impractical or risky in the real world. The next page continues the fascinating discussion with producer Hisanori Yokoi and professional fisherman Sekai Murakoshi about their fishing game. The large red title features Mr. Yokoi's name, and a profile details his extensive work on various titles including the Dungeon Master series, Castle series, Fishing Kichisanbei, and the Blue Marlin series, highlighting his role in the Sea Bass Fishing series and the current title. The interview delves into how experience gained in the game can be applied to real-life fishing. Mr. Murakoshi expresses his preference for challenging fishing conditions, finding it more exciting when the weather is bad. He notes that the game effectively simulates these tough conditions, including high waves, which adds to the realism. Mr. Yokoi adds that the game's graphics, particularly the backgrounds based on real fishing spots, are highly realistic, making locations instantly recognizable to those familiar with them. The discussion also covers advanced techniques like casting lures near rocks, and how wind simulation in the game makes certain challenging casts possible, much like in reality. This blend of realistic simulation and the ability to take risks not feasible in real life is presented as a core appeal. A side note offers cooking advice, specifically detailing a simple recipe for preparing sea bass caught while playing. This page dives into the romantic world of Ojo-sama Tokyo, Young Ladies Express, for the SEGA Saturn, a love-adventure game where you embark on a 15-day journey aboard the luxurious Special Express Vega. The premise is simple yet enticing. Somewhere, someone is waiting for you. And that journey begins with encounters with the 13 unique girls on the train. Each girl has her own reasons for being on this special trip, and you'll need to navigate the train cars using the game's unique MDS system to find them and strike up conversations. Interaction is key, as building relationships increases the girl's affection towards you. If you play your cards right, these connections can lead to exciting dates when the train stops in various cities. The game features talent from the popular Sakura Wars series, with Satoru Akahori handling the planning and story, and Masahiro Yanagisawa providing the character designs and illustration supervision. It promises a chance to search for true love while traveling across Japan. This page delves deeper into Ojo-sama Tokyo, highlighting its unique multiple duel system, where the girls don't follow pre-programmed paths, but act based on their own individual thought patterns, ensuring each playthrough evolves differently. Supporting this dynamic system are over 3,500 visual cuts and 250 distinct events, creating a rich variety of situations. The game also features exciting date opportunities during the train's 24-hour stops at 11 different cities like Tokyo and Osaka. You can meet girls you made plans with on the train, or even have spontaneous encounters while exploring the tourist spots. Screenshots show various characters you'll encounter, including Mirai the Idol, Shizuka, Akiko, and Elena, showcasing different scenes from train interactions to city dates. We also get a look at Mami Sakurai, a shy art student taking the Vega, hinting at emotional encounters on the journey. This approach makes every trip feel unique and personal, as you search for love. This article examines Hudson Soft's approach to role-playing games, specifically, The Legend of Heroes 2-1, Prophecy of the Moonlight Witch, White Witch. In contrast to the genre's evolution towards battle-focused gameplay, project manager Mr. Katsuki aimed to create an RPG that prioritized story and adventure over repetitive combat and leveling. White Witch minimized battles, integrating them strategically within the narrative to reveal hidden story elements. Katsuki found developing the game enjoyable, and player feedback largely praised the story and characters. Future development will focus on adding more interactive elements to address concerns about a perceived lack of content, while staying true to the strong narrative core. The game is seen as an experimental success, proving the appeal of a story-driven RPG experience. This page continues the discussion around Hudson Soft's approach to RPGs, focusing on player impressions and developer insights regarding Legend of Heroes 2-1, Prophecy of the Moonlight Witch, White Witch. Readers share their positive feedback, highlighting the game's compelling story and characters as major strengths. Many expressed high satisfaction, finding the gameplay smooth and engaging, even for those new to the genre. Some were pleasantly surprised after reading less favorable reviews elsewhere, underscoring their personal enjoyment. The article also features comments from the development team, discussing the complexities and resources required to create ambitious RPGs. They touch upon fan desires for ports of previous titles and hint at future projects, noting the collaborative efforts needed with partners like SEGA. The developers emphasize their commitment to maximizing the capabilities of the Saturn hardware. White Witch is further explained as the highly regarded third game in the Legend of Heroes series, celebrated for its narrative focus on the journey and growth of its protagonists, Jurio and Chris. This page is an advertisement for the SEGA Saturn game Mujintu Monogatari R. Futari no Love Island, a romance survival simulation. The vibrant illustration features a tropical island backdrop with palm trees, and displays 8 distinct anime-style female characters who are central to the game. The main premise, highlighted by the prominent text, involves a great lovey-dovey escape operation with 8 beautiful girls on a deserted island, where the player navigates a survival scenario and aims to end up with one of the girls. Small screenshots show a strategic map view of the island, suggesting exploration and resource management gameplay, alongside close-ups of character interactions. The game is presented as a survival drama, where a supposedly fun resort trip goes wrong. It promises various challenges and emotional moments as the player builds relationships with the girls. The ad also notes that the game features voice acting by popular cast members and is recommended for players aged 18 and over. It's published by KSS Media Entertainment Company. This page features an advertisement for the SEGA Saturn game Karyotose, published by Masudaya. It's highlighted as a 3D versus action game set on stages floating in the air, emphasizing easy controls and rules. The core gameplay, described as a kicking game, revolves around battling up to 4 players simultaneously, with the main objective being to knock opponents off the platform. The ad promises fun for everyone, whether playing alone in the story mode or engaging in chaotic 14-player versus matches. Screenshots display diverse and unusual stage designs, alongside vibrant character models in the heat of battle. The game is packed with stage gimmicks and features a varied cast of characters voiced by a roster of well-known voice actors. Scheduled for release on June 18th at a price of 4,800 yen, Karyotose is positioned as an accessible and exciting party brawler suitable for all ages. This page is an advertisement for the official guidebook for SEGA Rally 2 Championship. The game itself is highlighted as being hugely popular in arcades, and the guide is promoted as the essential tool for players looking to improve and outmaneuver their rivals. The book promises in-depth strategies for mastering championship mode, specific techniques like ideal course lines, braking points, and gear-shifting timings tailored to each car. It also includes fundamental rally terminology and knowledge to enhance enjoyment of the game. Plus, it features secrets revealed through a roundtable discussion with the development staff and details on a special SEGA Rally 2 merchandise giveaway. This official guide is presented as a must-have for serious players. This page showcases official strategy guides for 2 essential SEGA Saturn titles: Dragon Force 2, Kamisarishi Daiichi ni, and Shining Force 2, I Scenario 2, Narawareta Mikko, to the Saturn. The top section promotes the official guide for Dragon Force 2, the highly anticipated sequel to the popular simulation game. The guide, priced at 1,200 yen and spanning 144 of 5 pages, promises an exclusive, in-depth strategy for conquering the vast world. It covers everything from unit formations and special moves in battle, to crucial internal management commands and detailed event walkthroughs. Players can expect comprehensive data, including character lists, item lists, and even item synthesis methods. The accompanying artwork depicts the game's vibrant cast of heroes and villains, engaged in a large-scale fantasy conflict. Below, the official guide for Shining Force 2, I Scenario 2, is highlighted. This simulation RPG strategy book, priced at 1,100 yen, and also 144 of 5 pages, is presented as the definitive resource for navigating this chapter of the Shining Force 2 saga. It features essential map data, complete walkthroughs up to the final stage, details on hidden items, and information on all appearing enemies. The guide emphasizes a data-heavy approach, designed to provide players with all the necessary information. The artwork shows the main protagonist, Julian, and his companions aboard a ship, facing off against a colossal sea creature under a dramatic sky. Both guides were scheduled for a late May release, essential reads for fans looking to master these complex and beloved SEGA Saturn experiences. This page is a vibrant promotion for the Sakura Wars, the gorgeous Blooming Cherry Blossoms original video animation series based on the hit Sega Saturn game. The main visual is a dynamic illustration depicting the cast and their steam-powered mechs battling a terrifying monster. The text highlights the release of the OVA on LD and video on May 25th. It details the first-run bonus, which includes application coupons for exclusive illustrated goods and a special storage box for all 4 episodes, plus a large B1 size poster for LD users. Every release also comes with detailed liner notes providing in-depth commentary on the episodes. The page also points out related Sakura Wars merchandise currently on sale, such as games, CD singles, and novels, demonstrating the wide reach of this popular franchise. There's also a mention of an Emotion 15th anniversary campaign offering special goods. This page features the weekly posting board, a section dedicated to reader submissions. The main focus here is the reader's excitement and anticipation regarding the recent announcement of Sega's new hardware, presumably the Dreamcast. The magazine is actively soliciting opinions and feedback from the readership for future features. Beyond the new hardware buzz, the page is filled with various short, often humorous, anecdotes and questions submitted by readers from across Japan. These submissions touch on everyday life, gaming quirks, and interactions with the magazine itself, highlighting the community aspect of the publication. There are also several accompanying illustrations, likely submitted alongside the text, depicting characters or humorous scenes related to the reader's comments. It's a lively section showcasing the personality of the Sega Saturn fanbase. This page features the Saturn User Plaza, a lively section dedicated to reader submissions. Readers share their opinions on a variety of topics, including the subjective nature of game reviews, mentioning titles like Myst and Shining Wisdom. Another letter discusses how enjoyment depends on the player, referencing previous comments about Last Bronx and its accessibility. Sega's television commercials are also a topic of discussion, with one reader expressing their long-standing affection for Sega and mentioning classic series like Virtua Racing and Virtua Fighter. The magazine is also actively involving the community in creating new sections, forming a new corner establishment committee based on reader suggestions. One proposed corner about rules for discussion has already been greenlit. Interestingly, one reader suggested a rather peculiar theme about curry flavor. Below the letters is the Manga Tarot section, featuring short comics from various artists. These strips cover diverse subjects, from strategies for using twin sticks to a humorous look at the release history of the Panzer Dragoon series, mentioning Panzer Dragoon, Panzer Dragoon Zwei, and Panzer Dragoon Saga, with a hint at a potentially challenging future installment. Other comics depict the intensity of gamer conversations and ponder the mystery of new hardware development, showcasing the fun and passionate spirit of the Saturn community. The next page is a vibrant display of reader engagement, featuring several sections filled with community contributions. Kicking off is a playful challenge titled, Find Maytel LV. LV.1, accompanied by a charming illustration of the character Maytel from Galaxy Express 999. Next up is the Teach Me Show section, where reader questions are answered. Topics range from the relevance of the MSX computer in the current gaming landscape, and whether female gamers possess a unique mother instinct, to queries about the theme song from the Goonies. The Gamer Wisdom Corner offers practical tips from the community, including a rather unconventional method for dealing with stubborn vending machines to retrieve credits, and a helpful note about the benefits of using tracing paper for illustration. Further down, the page showcases a variety of fan art and comic strips submitted by readers from across Japan. These pieces cover diverse subjects, featuring character drawings, reflections on games like Vipers 2, commentary on the anticipation of new hardware, and humorous observations about gaming life. Notable contributions include artwork titled Compile, a piece related to the character Linda, and a comic referencing Galaxy Express 999. Adding a creative touch, there are step-by-step instructions on how to create a paper Pikachu through origami. Finally, a list displays the top-ranking readers based on their accumulated points for contributions, highlighting the most active members of the community. Overall, this page is a fantastic snapshot of reader interaction and passion within the SEGA Saturn community. The Letters Park Gallery showcases fan-submitted artwork and letters from across Japan, highlighting the SEGA Saturn community's creativity. Featured art includes characters like Pikachu, Arle Naja, and characters from Madu Monogatari, accompanied by submitter comments and editor responses. Waku Waku Puyo Puyo Dungeon is the topic of the week. A standout piece from Wakayama Prefecture is praised for its world building. The page also provides submission guidelines for postcards and artwork, including material restrictions and point-based rewards. A mailing address is included to encourage reader participation, fostering an interactive experience. This section embodies the magazine's engagement with its audience and celebrates the SEGA Saturn community. This page showcases a collection of anthology comics based on popular video games, primarily from SoftBank's publishing division. It highlights the 4-panel comic DX series, featuring adaptations of the massively popular Game Boy title, Pokémon, and the PlayStation game Nitu Shinden. These books compile comedic 4-panel strips by various artists and are noted as being currently available. The page also presents the Super Game Anthology comic series, offering diverse comic and illustration collections for several fighting and mahjong games. Featured titles include Super Real Mahjong PV Paradise, Battle Arena Toshinden, Battle Arena Toshinden 2, Power Instinct 2, and Darkstalkers, listed as Vampire Hunter Darkstalkers Revenge. Each book provides original artwork and comics from multiple contributors, capturing the essence of their respective game worlds. The bottom section provides details on the publisher and how to order these comics. This page focuses on the baseball simulation game, Pro Yaku Team wo Tsukuru. Let's make a pro baseball team. The main title highlights the game, and there's a small, 3D-rendered character holding a bat. The top right features Developers Challenge Volume 2, suggesting a recurring segment where the developers issue a challenge to players. This challenge involves facing off against teams created by the developers using password battles. Players are encouraged to test their skills against these developer teams before an upcoming tournament. 2 specific developer teams are mentioned: the Hachioji Swallows and the Marines, with brief descriptions of their strengths and players. Password lists are provided for accessing these teams. A queue and a section titled Yaku Tsuku, Q and a corner, addresses common questions about the game. One question asks about the benefits of developing goods in the game, beyond just making money. The answer explains that specific goods provide various effects, like boosting the popularity of the team or enhancing player abilities. A table lists some goods and their effects, such as autograph boards increasing team popularity and computers boosting scouting efficiency. Another question asks about potential causes for a team's slump, mentioning managers, players, and other issues. The page provides a snapshot of the game's content and community engagement, highlighting the developer's interaction through challenges and addressing player queries. It gives players concrete ways to test their teams and learn more about game mechanics. This page dives further into the community aspects of Pro Yaku Team wo Tsukuru. The headline feature announces the results of the first Gaotsuku likeness contest, showcasing impressive player likenesses created by fans using the game's customization tools. Top entries are highlighted, with the grand prize winner recognized for their accurate celebrity portrait. The staff praises the creativity and skill shown in replicating famous faces within the game's constraints. Other major section announces the preliminary round for a password battle tournament. Players are encouraged to submit their team data via postcard to compete for a spot in the main event, setting up competitive play among the community. The page also introduces several new ongoing corners for fan submissions. One challenging players to create intentionally bad or strange teams, another for submitting illustrations or feedback about the game and wishes for a potential sequel, and a secretary fan club for messages to the in-game secretaries. There's a small queue and a section, and a call for recommended players, continuing the interaction from previous pages. The page concludes with the magazine staff's brief thoughts and the address for all submissions. This page continues the series of lore articles for Gungrafon 2, framed as the 6th lecture in the Gungrafon World Disturbance History Introduction. The main topic is the Victor of War, U.S. Army Operations, Part 1. It discusses the U.S. Army as the dominant force in the game's fictional Third World War, and highlights their powerful military system, the AWGS. The article then breaks down the structure and equipment of various U.S. Army units featured in the game, such as mechanized infantry, anti-tank, support, and airborne divisions, detailing some of the vehicles like the M2A3 Bradley and M16 per meter 15 Land Club used by these forces. There's also a brief mention of a time attack contest deadline for fans on June 6th. Finally, the staff recommends a book titled Battle Simulation Tactics and Command, emphasizing the importance of understanding strategy and command beyond just having powerful equipment, suggesting this is key to victory, echoing themes present in the game itself. This page delves into the specific machine settings and design principles behind the mechs in Gungryphon 2. A major focus is the Tiger walking combat vehicle, which is detailed as originating from a European Union trial concept, developed jointly by Krauss-Maffei and GM. It failed in a Shaxx project but saw significant improvement and was adopted by several European nations as well as Japan, where it's known as the Type 10. The article highlights its four-legged design, unique segmented body structure, combat and engine units joined, powerful diesel hydraulic drive, composite and spaced armor, and formidable 140mm main gun with an autoloader, noting its exceptional all-terrain capability despite its 42-ton weight. We also get insight into the design philosophy from a staff column. It emphasizes functional design, such as the integrated head sensor complex that's purely for target acquisition, eliminating unnecessary adornments, and removing vulnerable points like front openings on the machine body. The importance of angled armor, or bullet trajectory, for defense is also discussed, contrasting it briefly with real-world AFVS, like the M48 Patton, M60 Patton, and Challenger tanks, images of which are shown. Finally, the page features a reader mail section, where the Japan Foreign Legion Public Relations Division staff, representing the developers, interact with fans, inviting questions and offering Hymax jackets as prizes, referencing the contest deadline previously mentioned. Line art of the Tiger mech and images of real-world tanks and the prize jacket are displayed. This page serves as a community bulletin board for Chunsoft's unique visual novel, Machi, released internationally as Street. It's packed with reader contributions and commentary from the staff running the section, known as Machi Baka, including Ume and Tetsu. The page features sections like Don't Turn Off the Streetlights, offering gameplay tips and player experiences, The Word, highlighting memorable lines, and a Gallery Dogonzaka, showcasing reader art and photos inspired by the game. There's also a creative corner, where fans submit themed content related to Machi's world. A new Favorite Bad End section launches, inviting players to share their most impactful game-over sequences from Machi's intricate story branches. The page also provides updates on a popularity poll, giving a glimpse into which characters or moments are favored by the community. There's a dedicated feature on the character Shiha, the handsome young Yakuza, even introducing the actor, Sato Masahiro, who portrayed him in the game's live-action scenes. A specific gameplay tip is also provided, pointing out a crucial event tied to the character Ushio Masami at a precise time and date within the game's narrative. It's clear this page is a central hub for Machi fans to connect and delve deeper into the game's world. This page features a personal column from the voice actress and singer Chisa Sakurai, titled Message to Chisa Sakurai's Heart Volume 17. In this entry, she shares a recent, slightly unsettling experience involving flies emerging from the soil of potted plants in her home. She describes her investigation, discovering the source, and her mixed feelings of repulsion and surprise at the peculiar incident. The column is accompanied by a charming illustration by Yu Hashimoto. Below the column, an information section provides details about Chisa Sakurai's upcoming summer concert tour, Tomo Summer 98, including the date and venue for the Kanto area performance and ticket information. The lower part of the page is dedicated to a comic strip by Izumi Takemoto, presented as Izumi Takemoto's Various Notes. This comic humorously depicts slices of daily life, including interactions related to mail delivery, experiences with local shops, and mentions of games like Tekken 3 and potentially Animal Crossing. There's also a reference to Machi Baka, linking back to community content for the Game Street found elsewhere in the magazine. The comic seems to follow the author's personal anecdotes and experiences. This page features a comic strip by animation creator Samsung Yoshimatsu, continuing his series, Sega Games Are the Best, TTTTT. The comic starts with a tangent about All Japan Pro Wrestling at the Tokyo Dome, expressing disappointment over the limited appearance of WWF, now WWE, stars like Vader, and humorously praising the intensity of wrestlers like The Undertaker's brother, likely Kane. The focus quickly shifts to the Sega Saturn. The author expresses a dilemma about whether to buy Sega's new hardware, lamenting the lack of funds. He reflects on the dwindling value of used Saturn consoles and games. The comic then delves into the shocking reality for Sega fans. Sega games are now being released on the rival PlayStation console. This is illustrated by showing a CD with a black back, characteristic of PlayStation discs. While initially portrayed as a betrayal, the author then recounts Sega's history of releasing games on other platforms, like the PC Engine, citing examples like Space Harrier and Afterburner, suggesting Sega has a history of providing dreams to users regardless of the hardware. The comic concludes with the author labeling himself and fellow Sega fans as, well, idiots, grappling with the complex reality. The Santa Mail Order Catalog offers a comprehensive price list for Sega hardware and software. It specializes in Sega Saturn games and peripherals, including new releases like Grandia and Lunar 2, as well as a vast back catalog of popular titles and accessories. The catalog also features products for older Sega consoles such as the Mega Drive, Mega CD, and Game Gear. The catalog provides detailed contact information, including phone, fax, address, and website. Shipping costs are clearly outlined, with various payment options like cash on delivery, bank transfer, and postal money orders. Orders can be placed by phone during business hours or by fax 24/7. The page specifies delivery times and availability for potential next-day delivery on select items, making it a useful resource for Sega fans seeking to purchase directly via mail order. This page features a column titled Hayama Koji's Men's Empire. It opens with the bold call to action, "Send a postcard. I'll fix the world with my music." The column is an opinion piece by composer Hayama Koji, known for his work across various platforms. He discusses a range of topics seemingly aimed at a younger audience, including the common feeling among students that adults and teachers don't understand them. Koji delves into the concept of understanding others, dealing with stress, and reflects on the nature of knowledge, differentiating between simply knowing facts and truly understanding and applying them, suggesting practical experience is crucial. He includes an image of himself holding a shirt bearing his name. The column serves as a direct message to the readers, inviting interaction via postcards sent to the magazine's editorial department, and also provides a link to his homepage. It's less about specific games and more about general life advice and perspective from a figure within the gaming and music world, engaging directly with the magazine's readership. This page provides a detailed look into the strategic gameplay of Nobunaga's Ambition, Shousei Roku on Sega Saturn. It's presented as a data-focused strategy guide. The core mechanic discussed is the action point system, where each officer has points consumed by various actions like development, diplomacy, or military maneuvers. The amount of action points recovered is linked to the officer's political skill. A large diagram breaks down the command system, showing the action point cost for different categories like movement, development, increasing land yield, flood control, town size, fortifications, diplomacy, marriage, alliances, gifts, trade, buying, selling rice, weapons, loans, strategy, sabotage, assassination, military, recruitment, training, war, and personnel, searching, recruiting, education. The guide emphasizes the importance of gathering capable officers, suggesting scouting defeated enemy commanders after battles, as they often start with high loyalty. Education is also key to improving their abilities. For national management, the focus is on building a strong economy and military. Increasing kokudaka, land productivity, is crucial for acquiring soldiers in September, and boosting commerce provides funds in March. These economic foundations are highlighted as essential for a strong country. Small screenshots show glimpses of the game's interface, displaying officer stats and strategic map views. Scenario 1 of Nobunaga's Ambition, Shousei Roku, Warring States Heroes, begins in 1560 with 28 playable daimyo. The guide provides crucial starting information across 38 territories, including gold, rice, loyalty, and military stats, vital for strategic planning. Small daimyo should focus on consolidating power through officer recruitment and army building, minimum 100 soldiers. Alliances are crucial for survival. Combat involves field battles, where cavalry excels, and siege battles, where infantry dominates. Artillery plays a supporting role in both, but understanding unit strengths in each battle type is key to success. This page introduces Scenario 2, Nobunaga's Ambition. For Nobunaga's Ambition, Shouseiroku did it. It immediately states this scenario is significantly more challenging than Scenario 1, primarily due to the overwhelming strength of the Oda clan, who already control much of central Japan and boast superior officers. The map shows the territorial divisions in this scenario, while a table repeating the starting data for the Scenario 1 locations is included. The real meat of the page is the 10 Great Daimyo Strategy Guide. This section offers crucial advice for playing as major clans facing the dominant Oda. It emphasizes the difficulty, noting many daimyo hold multiple provinces but are still outmatched by Oda. Featured daimyo and their core strategies include Uesugi Kenshin advised to ally with Oda first before tackling the Hojo, Takeda Katsuyori urged to focus on recruiting and leveraging strong personnel, and Tokugawa Ieyasu recommended to maintain his alliance with Oda and unify the Tokai region. Other strategies cover tackling regional rivals first, utilizing diplomacy, or focusing on specific types of units like the Suzuki clan's riflemen. It provides pointed advice for each of these major players on how to survive and thrive against the overwhelming power of Nobunaga. This page is a special project celebrating the 100th issue of SEGA Saturn magazine. The main headline asks how much blood, sweat, tears, and laughter went into reaching this milestone. It reflects on the monthly era, noting the start of the SEGA Saturn's time, with titles like Virtua Fighter being a huge initial draw. It also clarifies the numbering, explaining that while this is the 100th issue under the SEGA Saturn magazine name, the publication's history actually dates back to the earlier magazines Beep and Beep Mega Drive, making this issue effectively the 218th in the lineage. Pictures of these older magazine covers are shown. The page then provides a brief chronological look at 1995, highlighting key releases and events covered by the magazine. This includes mentions of games like the release of Daytona USA in Japan, the launch of Virtua Fighter 2, the start of development for Nights into Dreams, coverage of Myst, Theme Park and SimCity 2000, and a focus on RPGs. Later in the year, the magazine covered titles like Sakura Wars, Policenauts, Virtua Cop, Mobile Suit Gundam, and Grandia. Finally, a staff member offers a personal recollection of their time working on the magazine, emphasizing the difficulty of producing weekly content and the dedication to showcasing Sega's creators and the company's overall appeal beyond just the games themselves. This page chronicles the magazine's twice-monthly era, a period from late 1995 to late 1996, when the publication doubled its frequency to keep pace with the explosion of SEGA Saturn titles. Starting in December 1995, the magazine covered the release of major hits like Virtua Fighter 2, Street Fighter Alpha, Policenauts, Virtua Cop, and Mobile Suit Gundam. Noting the console reaching 2 million units sold, the focus shifted to Virtua Fighter 2 strategy and celebrating the magazine's first year. Throughout 1996, the magazine highlighted significant releases such as The King of Fighters, 95, Vampire Hunter, and Guardian Heroes. It tracked the launch of the Sagata Sanshiro campaign, covered the release of the White Saturn model, and featured major fighting games like The King of Fighters 96 and Samurai Showdown. Role-playing games also received increased coverage, with titles like Dragon Force, Myst, and Theme Park. The magazine reported on events like E3 and the Tokyo Game Show, offering insights into upcoming games including Grandia and Panzer Dragoon Saga. Interviews with key figures like Yu Suzuki were featured. Later in the year, the focus included Nights into Dreams, which was very well received by readers, and the magazine showcased fighting game prowess with Street Fighter Alpha 2 and early looks at Virtua Fighter 3 from the arcade. The year wrapped up with coverage of titles like Enemy Zero and the special release Christmas Nights. This page marks the beginning of the magazine's weekly era, running from early 1997 through mid-1998. It celebrates the summer following the transition to weekly publication, and asks if this exciting period was thanks to the legendary Sagata Sanshiro. The page serves as a timeline of the weekly issues from January to July 1997, showcasing the covers and major highlights. The magazine dove deep into anticipated titles like the port of Resident Evil and the hugely popular Sakura Wars, covering everything from gameplay to real-world locations inspired by the game, and even discussing anticipation for its sequel. Industry news was also front and center, including the surprising announcement of a merger between Sega and Bandai, though it later dissolved, and the significant news of Enix developing for the Saturn. Other key games featured include the highly awaited Grandia and Panzer Dragoon Saga, plus major releases like Neon Genesis Evangelion, Sonic Jam, Silhouette Mirage, and the unique Real Sound. The magazine reported on events like the Tokyo Game Show and included interviews with prominent figures in the industry, offering insight into the future of Saturn software. Special features explored game genres, peripherals, and even included a look at rare gaming items. A dedicated section shares the perspective of a SEGA PR representative, recounting his experiences working with the magazine, including a memorable encounter related to the game Mr. Bones and Tokyo Joytopolis. The overall content reflects a dynamic and busy period for the SEGA Saturn and its dedicated publication. This article commemorates the 100th issue of a magazine by exploring the Reader's Race, a feature where readers ranked games. It chronicles the SEGA Saturn's software library's evolution from 1995 to 1998 through top 10 charts. Early rankings highlighted launch titles and arcade ports like Virtua Fighter and Virtua Cop. As time passed, sequels and new genres, including Knights and Sega Rally Championship, gained traction. Later charts showed the emergence of RPGs and adventure games like Sakura Wars and Grandia, showcasing increased platform diversity. The article also reviews the magazine's weekly issues, featuring covers and highlights from mid-1997, including Resident Evil, Sakura Wars 2, and the launch of the Sega Partners Fan Club. This retrospective underscores the vibrant and dynamic period for the Sega Saturn and the magazine's role in reflecting the gamer's preferences and the console's software landscape. This page showcases a chronological rundown of SEGA Saturn magazine issues from late 1997 into early 1998, highlighting features on titles like The Strategic Depth of a Mecha Game, The Fighting Action of Dead or Alive and Street Fighter Collection, the latest on Sakura Wars 2, and the reveal of Oratorio Tangram. It also mentions coverage on the RPG Baroque and the adventure title Eve the Lost One. The timeline culminates with features on the highly anticipated RPG Grandia and the release of a Satamaga keydrum. The main feature is a special talk between Tadashi Takazaki from Sega's CS promotion department and Yutaka Kondo, the Sega Saturn magazine editor-in-chief. They reflect on their long history working together since the days of Beep magazine, the challenging transition from a monthly to a weekly publication schedule, and the unique journey of covering the Sega Saturn. They discuss the magazine's approach to highlighting the console's strengths, even addressing perceived weaknesses, and the intense pressure of meeting deadlines, including anecdotes about scrambling to get screenshots from development hardware late at night, particularly during the crucial development period of games like Sakura Wars. Their conversation encapsulates the passionate effort behind covering the Saturn and the evolution of gaming journalism alongside the console's library. This page continues the reflection on the history of Sega Saturn magazine, picking up the discussion between Sega's Takazaki and editor-in-chief Kondo. The top section visually reinforces this history by showcasing a timeline of past issues from late 1997 through early 1998, highlighting coverage of a diverse range of titles including various fighting games, RPGs, adventure games, and strategic mecha titles, demonstrating the depth of the console's library and the magazine's dedication to covering it all. On the left, the image of the first issue featuring Virtua Fighter characters stands as a powerful symbol of the journey from the magazine's beginning. The conversation explores the immense challenges of transitioning to a weekly publication schedule, the constant pressure of deadlines, and the unique experience of covering the Sega Saturn platform. They touch upon the dynamic relationship with developers, the effort required to obtain crucial information and assets like screenshots under tight timelines, and the passionate dedication needed to consistently deliver content to readers. The talk emphasizes the magazine's evolving approach and the deep connection felt with the Saturn gaming community over the years. The page also includes a small notice about a giveaway promotion. The final image shows a collection of magazines, visually representing the sheer volume of work produced. This page contains a reader questionnaire postcard, designed for Sega Saturn magazine to gather valuable feedback from its readers. The survey asks for basic personal information, including gender, age, and occupation, alongside questions about the reader's gaming habits, such as the number of Sega Saturn games they own and other gaming publications they follow. It also probes opinions on future console hardware and the reader's engagement frequency with the survey itself. Crucially, readers are asked to identify the most and least interesting articles from the current issue and list hardware they own and upcoming Sega Saturn software they desire from provided reference lists. This structured feedback system is essential for the magazine to understand reader preferences, gauge the popularity of content, and inform future editorial decisions.
directly reflecting the strong connection between the publication and the Sega Saturn community it serves.
This page features Idol Mahjong Final Romance 4, the latest entry in the series, which has quickly made its way to the Sega Saturn. The page is dominated by a vibrant illustration of the game's diverse cast of anime-style female characters, hinting at the visual novel and mahjong gameplay within. The article highlights several key features. The character designs are handled by the popular Akatsuki Gomoku. The characters are voiced by a talented cast of voice actors, bringing them to life. The game includes a map of Akatsuki Town that players can freely explore, suggesting a significant story or adventure mode beyond just mahjong matches. Notably, multi-endings are available for all 11 playable characters, offering replayability. For fans of pure mahjong, a mode for authentic 4-player mahjong without any cheating mechanics has been added. This Sega Saturn version is advertised as a complete package that surpasses the original arcade port. The game is available for 6,800 yen, excluding tax, and has an age rating of 18 years or older. It is published by Video System. This page features the 4th volume in the Creator Biography series, subtitled, A Bible Dedicated to the Next Generation, and focuses on Yoshiki Okamoto. The main image shows Okamoto, a key figure at Capcom, casually posing on a bicycle. The article delves into his life and career, highlighting his significant role in defining Capcom's image, particularly through the monumental success of Street Fighter II. The feature includes anecdotes about Okamoto's childhood, such as his inability to watch the classic anime Paman, because the main character's struggles reminded him too much of his younger brother. This offers a glimpse into his character and early life. It also touches upon his rise within Capcom to his position as a managing director, and his perspective on the game industry. The series promises to uncover previously untold stories about Capcom and the creative spirit of developers from the Kansai region of Japan. The page emphasizes his importance on the Sega Saturn platform, suggesting his influence extended to games released on the console, although none are specifically named on this page other than the mention of Street Fighter II as his legacy. This page continues the feature on Capcom's Yoshishiki Okamoto, presenting a striking portrait of the influential developer. The article delves deeper into his life, exploring his school years where he excelled in science, physical education, and art, though he admits to struggling with English despite later claiming some fluency. It details his rural upbringing in Ehime Prefecture, and touches on early thoughts about potential careers before joining Capcom. The biography highlights key milestones in his career at Capcom, listing his roles including planning production manager, development department manager, and eventually managing director. It also mentions his involvement in establishing Flagship, a scenario production company. Most importantly, the text names some of his representative works, which include foundational Capcom titles like Final Fight, the groundbreaking Street Fighter II series, and the Vampire series, known internationally as Darkstalkers. Accompanying the text is a section of private photographs showing Okamoto in his youth. One image captures him as a junior high school volleyball captain and ace, while another shows him participating in a race, wearing his hometown's name, Ipponmatsu, on his shirt. These images underscore the article's discussion of his background and physical prowess, contrasting with the intellectual and creative career he forged in game development. The piece clearly establishes Okamoto's significant impact on Capcom and its legacy, particularly on fighting games that were immensely popular on the Saturn. This page continues the extensive feature on legendary game developer Yoshiki Okamoto, following his early life in Ehime. The article details his transition after high school, moving to Osaka, and gaining a variety of life experiences through unusual part-time jobs, including one he describes as working at a place like a gay bar. He recounts how he initially struggled with job hunting, but eventually applied for a design and illustration position at Konami Industry, discovering they made games. It was during this time, interviewing for a part-time job at Konami, that he met Tokuro Fujiwara, who would later become a prominent figure in the industry himself. The page presents a list of notable games from his career, spanning his time at both Konami and Capcom. This historical overview includes classic arcade hits like Time Pilot, Gyrus, Sunsen, 1942, X's, Gunsmoke, Sidearms, Black Dragon, and Forgotten Worlds. The text also includes a prominent quote from Okamoto, stating he wants people to understand why he makes fighting games and does platform work, possibly referring to platform development or game design principles. Screenshots of early titles like Time Pilot, Gyrus, Sunsen, and 1942 are featured, visually representing some of his impactful early works before his later success with fighting games like Street Fighter II and Final Fight. This page continues the compelling story of game developer Yoshiki Okamoto. Following his time at Konami, the article details his decision to leave and his pivotal meeting with Kenzo Tsujimoto, the president of Capcom. Okamoto shares his philosophy on game development and compensating creators based on their results, a key principle he values. He recounts his early days at Capcom, describing the atmosphere and challenges. The page features screenshots of several classic arcade titles he worked on, including X's, Gunsmoke, Sidearms, Black Tiger, 1943, and Forgotten Worlds. A striking image shows Okamoto surrounded by Star Wars characters and merchandise, perhaps reflecting his personality or the era's pop culture influence. The text delves into his initial experiences at Capcom and the strategic approach they took to make their mark in the competitive arcade market of the time, highlighting how they differentiated themselves. This page continues the fascinating interview with Yoshiki Okamoto, delving deeper into Capcom's strategy and his influence. Okamoto discusses the shift in the arcade market and Capcom's pivotal move from primarily developing shooting games to focusing on versus fighting games. He explains the strategic business reasoning behind this, highlighting how the fighting game format could generate more revenue in arcades compared to the traditional per-play model of other genres, especially in a changing economic landscape for game centers and distributors. The article then presents a surprising anecdote, suggesting that the roots of Capcom's renowned fighting game legacy can be traced back to a baseball game based on the popular manga, Dokuben. Okamoto reveals that the AI and underlying systems developed for the 1988 Dokuben arcade game, which involved simulating baseball strategy and player performance, unexpectedly laid the groundwork for the development of their future fighting titles. Screenshots on the page showcase the aforementioned Dokuben, 1988, the beat-em-up classic Final Fight, 1989, and the revolutionary Street Fighter II, 1991. Okamoto implies that the detailed AI and strategic thinking honed during the development of Dokuben contributed significantly to the sophisticated opponent AI in Street Fighter II, which was a major factor in its unprecedented success and the subsequent boom in the fighting game genre. In Creator File Volume 4, Yoshiki Okamoto discusses his game development philosophy, emphasizing prioritizing people and making games without complaints. He credits influences like Cow Cow and stresses the importance of a user-centric approach, which drives Capcom's multi-platform strategy to reach a wider audience, especially younger players. The article highlights Capcom's commitment to arcade-perfect home experiences, exemplified by the Sega Saturn's use of the 4 MB RAM cartridge. Okamoto, likening game creators to bat craftsmen, stresses continuous improvement and considering the user's perspective. He also reveals his ambition to elevate the game industry and shares a glimpse into his personal collection. This page features a prominent advertisement for the Sega Saturn game Idol Suki Hodai Kinge. The artwork shows a man dressed as a rather comical king holding a scepter, surrounded by 8 young women whose portraits are framed by roses. The text indicates this is a game where you select idols, engage in battle, aim to win, give commands, and achieve great satisfaction. The game is exclusive to the Sega Saturn and is presented on 2 discs. It lists the price at 6,800 yen, excluding tax, and its release date is May 28. Notably, it has an age restriction, recommended for ages 18 and older. The images of the women suggest they are the idols featured in the game, with their names displayed beneath their portraits. This page serves as a guide to both the latest releases and upcoming titles for the Sega Saturn. On the left, under the bold, New Release Title Catch-Up banner, it highlights a section designed to quickly inform you about the current Saturn gaming scene, listing recent software information. Games mentioned here include How to Become a Magician, Tentative, Simulation RPG Maker, Super Adventure Rockman, known as Mega Man outside Japan, and Shigeru Mizuki's Yokai Encyclopedia Complete Collection, with corresponding page numbers. On the right, beneath the equally dramatic Coming Soon Soft title, is a section dedicated to anticipated titles releasing soon, intended to help readers plan their game purchases. This section lists games such as Deserted Island Story R, Two People's Love Island, Princess Maker, Fairy Tales Come True, GT24, Cryatos, and King's Game, also with page references. The lower half of the page is adorned with an illustration featuring 4 anime-style young women. This page features details on 2 upcoming Sega Saturn titles. First up is How to Become a Magician, Tentative, an action RPG where you delve into a world of magic crafting. You explore freely, gather materials, and combine them to create spells. Use your magic to solve challenges, help people, and even take down bothersome characters who get in your way. Experimenting with different material combinations to discover new spells, maybe even legendary ones, sounds like a blast. This Saturn version is a step up from the Windows release, featuring polygon maps that really enhance the sense of depth and realism, making the environment feel more dynamic. It was planned for a summer release from TGL. Below that, we have Simulation RPG Maker, a tool designed to let you unleash your creativity and build your own simulation RPG set in a fantasy realm. Using the provided character and map assets, you can construct your game relatively easily. The software allows for detailed customization, from creating up to 128 character units with various stats and graphics, to designing maps by assembling parts and placing enemies in events. You can even set victory conditions and test your creations right there. This looks like a fantastic way for aspiring game designers to bring their own strategic fantasy worlds to life on the Saturn. Developed by ASC2, it was targeting a September release. This page features details on two intriguing SEGA Saturn releases. At the top, we have Super Adventure Rockman. This title marks a significant shift for the Blue Bomber, moving from his traditional action roots into the adventure genre.
Don't worry, the action is still present. The combat sections incorporate real-time shooting, requiring precision to target enemies. The adventure parts feature interactive movies with branching paths, where your choices influence the story. A cool feature is the Winker system, which throws real-time decision points at you during cutscenes, adding urgency. The game promises a huge collection of past Mega Man bosses, with 22 making an appearance. It sounds like a fresh take on the Mega Man universe with a lot of content, though. Below that is Mizuki Shigeru no Yukai Zukan Saoshuhen, a deep dive into the world of yokai from the creator of Gege no Kitaro, Shigeru Mizuki. This is a full-fledged yokai adventure game, where you gather information around town and interview hidden yokai to progress. The story unfolds as you navigate various incidents and try to track down a missing teacher. Encountering yokai is a key part, and they aren't always friendly. A major highlight is the extensive yokai database, providing detailed information on the creatures you encounter. This looks like a must-play for fans of Japanese folklore and Shigeru Mizuki's art. This page introduces R. Mujinto Monogatari R, a love survival simulation game arriving soon for the SEGA Saturn. Set against the dramatic backdrop of a deserted island, the game challenges players with both survival elements and romantic relationships. The core gameplay blends surviving the harsh environment with pursuing love interests among the characters. The content highlights the unexpected sides of the female characters and the unique experiences only possible in such an extreme setting, contrasting it with a normal everyday life. While it's a survival game, the content emphasizes that the main game is designed to be played casually and is lighthearted. Players have various approaches, from focusing on specific romantic routes, perhaps even pursuing multiple partners, to engaging in activities like item collection and mastering the cooking menu. The game promises enjoyment that varies greatly depending on how the player chooses to approach the island life. Visually, the page features several anime-styled female characters, hinting at the romance simulation aspect. Staff express confidence, stating the game is 100% complete and ready for players to dive in. It is set to release on May 28th for 5,800 yen and is recommended for ages 18 and over. This page delves into essential tips for starting out in Mujinto Monogatari I, providing basic knowledge for new players following the previous introduction to the game. It highlights three fundamental aspects you need to grasp from the start. First, the selection of your fellow island members is decided during the initial conversation you have upon arrival. Your choices directly impact who will be part of your survival group. Second, forming parties is crucial for navigating island life. You'll need to organize your members into different groups for activities like exploration and investigation, and strategically pairing characters, especially your romantic interests, is highly recommended. Finally, the game features 7 core character stats: HP, Trust, Stamina, Attention, Dexterity, Cooking, and Love. These stats change constantly, based on your actions and various events, influencing everything from survival capabilities to relationship progression. The page emphasizes that stats like Dexterity are important for exploration, while the Love stat is paramount when focusing on building romantic connections with the female characters. Screenshots illustrate the party formation process and the character status screens, where you can monitor these vital attributes. This page provides a practical guide to survival in Mujintu Monogatari R, detailing strategy once you've paired up with your chosen girl. It outlines the game's progression through 3 key phases. The early game emphasizes developing the attention stat, primarily through repeatedly investigating discovered spots, especially those marked with. The mid-game shifts focus to item collection. Once your attention is high enough, you'll find more spots, allowing you to gather ingredients and tools to improve skills like cooking and crafting. Finally, the late game is all about deepening the relationship with your partner. Consistently providing good food and increasing the trust and love stats unlocks unique character events, leading towards dating and potentially the game's best endings. The page also introduces 3 key characters who are part of the shipwrecked group. Rika Nakajima, an admired upperclassman with past survival experience but low adaptability to the wild. Sumiko Romura, an energetic and curious middle schooler with high attention but low stamina. And Miho Fujioka, a practical realist whose focus on saving money translates to decent attention and stamina, but limited cooking skill. Screenshots illustrate the main island view, the action command menu, and dialogue scenes during events.
This page continues the guide for Mujintu Monogatari R, specifically focusing on the 6 action commands available to the party leader each day, split into morning and afternoon turns. The choices made greatly impact the group's survival and relationships. The commands include exploration to search new areas, investigation to find items or discover events in known spots, and cooking to prepare meals which are crucial for the party's health and morale. There are also commands focused on relationships. Cheer up, a special command to improve a girl's mood, and date, which is key to deepening bonds. Finally, rest allows the party to recover HP. Screenshots show the action menu, cooking selection, dialogue choices during events, and the status screen displaying party members and their condition. The page also introduces 6 individuals shipwrecked on the island. Yuka Saki, a 16-year-old who struggles with communication but is decent at attention and cooking. Natsuno Morishita, a 17-year-old top student with hidden worries, good at investigation and cooking, but not suited for rough activities. Yuki Mashita, a friendly guy with a wide appeal, best suited for exploration and investigation teams due to his stamina. Kira Tatehara, a 16-year-old who dislikes being girly, very tough, and good at investigation rather than cooking. Yukimi Hashimoto, an 18-year-old with a weak constitution, but surprisingly good at cooking. And Noboru Takato, a sporty friend of the protagonist, strong in stamina, and good for exploration and investigation. This page focuses on the SEGA Saturn release of Princess Maker 3, Yumemiru Yusei, the latest entry in the beloved racing simulation series. Described as a schedule management and SLG racing simulation game, the article highlights the Saturn version's focus on replayability and unique elements compared to previous iterations. The goal is to raise a daughter to become a well-balanced individual, with her father being a retired knight. The page features a charming replay diary titled, Replay the Days of Sega Alice Dreaming, written from the perspective of the in-game father, a retired knight named Sega. He introduces his 10-year-old daughter, Alice, noting her strong morale but concerningly low temperament and sense, which he aims to improve through his parenting strategy. The diary emphasizes the importance of daily communication, such as conversations with Alice, to manage stress and boost her mood and morale. Screenshots showcase the game's character design, status screens displaying various parameters like height, weight, and skills, and the schedule selection menu. The game was developed by Gainax and released on June 18. This text details the SEGA Saturn version of Princess Maker 3, focusing on the life of Alice, the daughter, as she grows from age 10. The narrative follows her daily activities, from struggling in cooking class to excelling in dance, which improved her stamina and charisma. Financial needs lead to part-time jobs like carpentry and babysitting, impacting her schedule. Key events include a birthday gift of a short sword, encounters with rivals and teachers, and the father's reflections on her growth. The Saturn version includes unique events like festivals and parties. Screenshots showcase Alice's changing appearance and various activities. A table illustrates Alice's significant attribute growth, height, weight, skills, and social stats, from ages 10 to 13, revealing her overall development, including her increasing morale and vitality through daily greetings. This page features Jaleco's GT24, a racing game focusing on the thrilling experience of endurance racing. The highlight is the 24H mode, which simulates a 24-hour race with scaled-down time limits of 12, 24,
or 48 minutes. This mode incorporates machine damage, emphasizing the need for strategic pit stops to complete the race. Players can choose from 3 distinct course layouts: short, middle, and long, each available in both forward and reverse directions. The game offers a selection of 9 different cars, including hidden vehicles, allowing players to compare acceleration and handling before hitting the track. Both manual and automatic transmission options are available, catering to different playstyles. Screenshots showcase the intense race action, displaying key information like speed, fuel, damage, and position. GT24 emphasizes machine endurance and strategic pit stops, crucial in the 24 hours mode where cars sustain damage. The 24 hours mode introduces pit crew selection, allowing players to choose crews affecting pit stop speed and potentially car performance. Pit stops involve driver changes, refueling, and repairs, all impacting track time. Beyond endurance, the game offers Grand Prix mode, a shorter format with a time limit, and medal objectives, incorporating damage and pit stops. Time attack mode allows players to chase their fastest lap times against a ghost car on any course. The options screen provides customization of settings like race length, sound, and ghost car visibility. This page introduces Cario Tote, an action game for the SEGA Saturn, described as a chaotic annual carnival on planet Cario. It's a battle royale, where the simple goal is to kick your opponents off the stage to win the prestigious Cario Totsushita title. The game is easy to pick up with controls using only 3 buttons, one for a special move, one for kicking, and one for jumping. It features various stages and unique characters, playable in single-player or exciting 4-player versus matches. The page highlights its simple rules and accessible gameplay as key selling points. It mentions a June 18th release date from Masuda Corporation for 4,800 yen, and that a trial version was planned for distribution in June. You win a stage by being the first to achieve 3 wins. This page introduces the diverse cast of challengers participating in the chaotic Cario Tate Carnival Battle Royale. Following up on the previous page's introduction to the game's simple objective of knocking opponents off stages, this spread provides profiles for several of the game's unique characters. You'll meet characters like Carol, a waitress with a beer-themed special move; FAA, a magical girl with powerful homing attacks; Sand, a science geek whose creations Carts and Jam also participate; Shade, a cross-dressing fighter; the mayor of South Cario City seeking revenge; and Ten, a monk with a barrier ability; Huey, a flying handyman; Byakuran, a surprisingly cross-dressing character with a freezing move; and Fararna, a fighting god with fiery attacks. The page also explains the use of special moves, which require a gauge that depletes upon use and needs time to recharge, emphasizing that strategic timing is key to victory. Furthermore, the game boasts a lineup of famous voice actors, adding to the game's personality with unique victory and defeat lines for each character. The variety in characters and their abilities look set to make for unpredictable and fun battles. This page introduces the game Usama Game, described as software that helps relieve stress and boost your energy. This unique title presents a twist on the party game genre, featuring popular idols where victory in minigames against a pink hippo opponent unlocks special movies and photos of the girls. The game is noted as recommended for older players, with a manufacturer comment hinting at its suggestive content and focus on close-up visuals. Spread across 2 discs, Usama Game is packed with enticing visuals. The gameplay loop involves first checking the characteristics of the idol you wish to challenge, then selecting a minigame via a roulette. While the controls are simple, the game includes random elements to keep things interesting. Succeeding in a minigame grants you the reward: exclusive scenes showcasing the idols, such as the highlighted Super Mini Bikini appearance of Risa Yoshida, promising plenty of visual appeal. The game features a diverse cast of idols, ensuring a variety of challenges and rewards across the 2 discs. This page delves further into the gameplay mechanics and rewards of Usama Games, focusing on the mini-games and the enticing punishment games. It highlights 3 simple yet challenging mini-games, one where you point in a direction based on a signal, a reaction game involving hitting or blocking with a hammer, and a quick button press climbing game while dodging bombs. The difficulty of these minigames, especially when starting out, is noted, but mastering them is key to seeing the rewards. The core attraction, the punishment games, are presented in abundance and categorized into 2 main series: the Cosplay Movie Series and the Wicked Series. The Cosplay Series features the girls in a variety of outfits, like sailor uniforms, nurse uniforms, and bunny suits, offering plenty of visual appeal, with the possibility of seeing intense kisses towards the camera. The Wicked series involves mischievous scenarios, like approaching a girl by the pool, Mili Milu Watcher, or splashing water on a girl's shirt, Hose de Suke Suke, designed to tickle the male heart. The reviewer emphasizes the appeal of these varied scenes, and the possibility of seeing unexpected combinations of girls in the Wicked series. This page features the perfect guide for Super Robot Wars F Final Chapter, a massive tactical RPG crossover event on the SEGA Saturn. Priced at 1,400 yen, this, a 5-sized guide, boasts a hefty 296 full-color pages and was scheduled for release in late May. The striking cover art showcases a dynamic group of iconic super-deformed mechs from the many series included in the game. This guide is essential for tackling the game's conclusion. It promises to cover the game in depth, featuring series like Neon Genesis Evangelion, Space Runaway Ideon, various Mobile Suit Gundam entries, Mazinger Z, Getter Robo, and Invincible Steelman Daytarn 3, among many others, as they fight to protect Earth. It focuses on how the protagonist team, London Bell, confronts the powerful enemy forces and uncovers the mastermind behind the conflict. Highlights of the guide include detailed strategy flowcharts, a significant increase in map strategy pages, doubled from previous guides, 200% increased data on units and abilities, and insights into uncovering hidden events. Published by SoftBank, this guide is presented as the definitive resource for mastering this fan-favorite mecha epic. This page kicks off a section dedicated to comprehensive strategy guides for SEGA Saturn software released after the previous issues. Titled Complete Strategy Guide and SEGA Saturn Soft Complete Guide, it features dynamic illustrations of two mechs, one in a super deformed style and another with more realistic proportions, setting a tone for action-packed content. The page highlights that it will pick up important points and provide thorough guides. The list of featured games includes key SEGA Saturn titles like Super Robot Wars, Final Chapter starting on page 134, the strategy epic Dragon Force 2 on page 140, the action game Shadows of the Tusk on page 144, Multilancer Reinforce on page 148, the second scenario of the tactical RPG Shining Force 2i on page 152, and the unique dungeon crawler Baroque on page 154. This section promises in-depth coverage for several prominent games on the platform. This page dives into the strategy for Super Robot Wars Final Chapter, picking up from the game's release a month prior. The magazine assures readers that comprehensive guides will continue. This particular article covers 6 scenarios, focusing on the point in episode 60, Beast of the Sky and Earth, where the protagonist chooses between going to space or staying on Earth, splitting the game into 2 distinct routes. 3 scenarios from each route are covered here. A significant part of the guide is dedicated to understanding the Ideon gauge, a special meter for the Ideon unit. The gauge is crucial because Ideon cannot unleash its full power without it being sufficiently raised. The guide explains how the gauge increases or decreases based on the situation. It rises when Ideon is in dangerous situations, like taking damage even if evaded or defeating enemies, and decreases when it's safe, like landing on the solo ship. Ideon's abilities change with the gauge level, allowing access to powerful weapons like the Ideon Sword and Ideon Gun as it rises. However, the guide cautions that special effects might not always align perfectly with the gauge levels, so the gauge should be seen as a general indicator. The section concludes by hinting that the Ideon gauge can rise even further, with uncertain consequences. This page delves into the strategy for episode 61, The Unsealed Seal in Super Robot Wars F Final Chapter, focusing on the ground route. The early turns involve a straightforward advance, but players are warned about enemy reinforcements appearing near their initial positions once the enemy count is halved. Shin-Getter 1 joins at the start of turn 3 but is initially limited, unable to transform or use Stoner Sunshine until a later event triggers before Master Gundam's arrival. When the enemy count drops below 9, reinforcements appear, offering a chance to gain experience with lower-level pilots, as these enemies aren't significantly stronger than the initial group. After defeating Drive Hell's main force, Master Gundam appears, leading to a difficult one-on-one confrontation between God Gundam and Master Asia. The Devil Gundam then appears 3 turns later, and from that point, the scenario progresses mainly through cutscenes. The guide also highlights other notable events, such as the ability to upgrade Evangelion units' HP, armor, and mobility by 3 levels each, up to the 5-stage limit, and specific events involving Shin-Getter and Brocken.
Episode 62 of Super Robot Wars.
Final chapter, Decisive Battle, New Tokyo City 2, focuses on defeating the Great General of Darkness. Players should prioritize defense, especially against the General's attacks, and save spirit commands like Hot Blood. The 3 EVA units are key, utilizing at fields for protection. Quickly defeating the General is crucial to avoid complications from destroying the umbilical cable and the subsequent appearance of Ramiel, the 5th Angel. The guide recommends bursting down the General from above 20% HP. After the General's defeat, EVA units redeploy. One EVA pilot, Rei or Shinji, based on sync rate,
snipes Ramiel, while the other 2 evade attacks with flash.
Rei in Unit 0 guarantees sniping success, while Shinji's success is uncertain. The guide strongly advises evolving Mazinger Z into Mazin Kaiser, citing Mazin Kaiser's superior stats and abilities as the optimal choice. This page provides a detailed strategy guide for Episode 63, Those Who Weave Fate, in Super Robot Wars' final chapter, covering both real robot and super robot routes. The initial turns, 1 through 3, focus on avoiding direct conflict with the enemy, primarily the 14th Angel, Zirul, while waiting for the main force to arrive on turn 4. The guide advises using the EVA units defensively during this phase, if necessary, as they take no damage when defending. From turn 4 onwards, the player's main force arrives, including Koji Kabuto, allowing for engagement. A key decision point is whether to obtain the S2 engine for EVA Unit 01.
Defeating Zirul specifically with either EVA Unit 00 or Unit 01 grants the S2 engine. Obtaining it eliminates the need for the umbilical cable and grants enhanced capabilities, although the passive energy recovery is lost. The guide suggests getting the S2 engine is generally beneficial. The guest army, led by Boldrifar and Orgvallier, will retreat if Zirul is defeated, or if their HP drops below 70%. But the guide notes defeating them before they retreat is possible, albeit difficult, requiring spirit commands like Fatigue and Soul. Looking ahead, the guide emphasizes strengthening core units for subsequent episodes, particularly Mazin Kaiser and Shin Getter Robo. It highlights Mazin Kaiser's versatility, and recommends upgrading its HP, armor, and weapons to maximize its potential on the front lines. Shin Getter Robo also benefits greatly from continued upgrades, building upon the enhancements of its previous form. This guide focuses on 2 key episodes in Super Robot Wars' final chapters, Space Arc. Episode 61, Flight of the Solo Ship, emphasizes protecting the Ideon and Solo Ship while clearing enemies. Prioritize enemy defeat for cash, saving Gandarob and Gabrozan for last to trigger enemy retreat, Gabrozan offering more funds. Alternatively, get Ideon to the Solo Ship for a faster clear. After the intermission, the Gundam Wing pilots depart, and the full-armor Hyaku Shikikai joins. Episode 62, City on the Back of Betrayal, requires clearing all enemies to protect Von Braun and the Solo Ship. Utilize the central crater for defense. Manage Gandarob's HP to control enemy retreats. Clearing the map before turn 4 prevents reinforcements. If reinforcements appear, use them for leveling up pilots, but be careful with New Gill's HP. The guide also highlights 2 upcoming choices, choosing between 4 Murasame or Rosamia Badam, and then choosing between Mazin Kaiser and Getter Robo Z. This page dives into Episode 63 of Super Robot Wars' final chapter Space Arc, titled The Legend of the Infinite Kaida. The guide breaks down the strategy starting from turn 1. Since the enemy is far away initially, it recommends using units with 2 actions to push forward and engage. However, it warns that the heavy enemy mechs are strong, so don't overextend too early. It also advises against positioning units near the reinforcement arrival points before turn 5. From turn 5 onwards, significant enemy reinforcements appear on the left and top sides of the map. Many of these units have 2 actions, making careless approaches dangerous. The suggested tactic is to lure them in. Key enemies include Drowzan, noted for its high accuracy. A significant section is dedicated to special events, particularly the steps for persuading Rosamia Badam. This involves defeating Gites first, then having Camille Bidan engage Rosamia in combat. Succeeding triggers a conversation that allows you to attempt persuasions. The guide highlights potential negative outcomes, such as 4 Murasame dying, which has consequences for later scenarios, or failing the persuasion attempt, which can cause Camille to lose fighting spirit. Screenshots show key moments, like Camille and For's character portraits, and the Psycho Gundam Mk2, piloted by Rosamia. This page focuses on the climactic final phase of Dragon Force 2, detailing the battle against the Dogul tribe on the newly emerged floating continent. It outlines that the long war is nearing its end, with the fate of humanity hanging in the balance against the dark inhabitants, the Dogul tribe, who control this mysterious land. The guide explains that while the continent is initially protected by a barrier, players should use this time to consolidate their forces, particularly leveling up their key generals. Castles with high enemy counts or levels, such as Prometheus Castle and nearby Sararku Castle, are recommended for this preparation. The page also addresses the scattered demon forces that appeared simultaneously with the continent, advising players to deal with them carefully as they occupy strategic locations and can be used for further leveling. A section highlights the fate of defeated demon generals like Gray and Gideon, who are absorbed by Orubus, a tragic end regardless of which ruler the player controls. Finally, it reveals that the event to break the barrier around the floating continent is unique for each ruler, showcasing examples like Rayuni's scenario, involving Tillis and Fate, and parts utilizing his Dogul blood. The page features visuals including character portraits, a map of the floating continent, and various in-game screenshots illustrating battles and events. This page continues the Dragon Force 2 strategy guide, focusing on the final battles on the floating continent against the Dogul tribe. It emphasizes tailoring your army composition specifically for fighting demons, suggesting units like horsemen, Karakuri soldiers, mages, and Dragonia, based on their strengths against the Dogul. Generals are advised to boost their HP and MP when advancing. The guide notes that in most castles on the continent, you'll face only 1 or 2 enemy generals at a time, making focused attacks effective. It recommends pairing your generals with units of the same type, warrior with warriors, mage with mages, as troop compatibility is crucial, especially when enemy levels match yours. The page highlights that all enemy forces on the floating continent are level 30 or higher, making troop replenishment during battle difficult. A suggested strategy for players with lower-level supporting generals is to use overwhelming numbers and advance quickly. It also provides specific strategies for 3 key castles: Estan, Media, and Orcarinus. Estan requires a warrior general with silence magic, Media needs units resistant to powerful magic, and Ortrius, who uses devastating area magic, can be defeated by a healing mage depleting his MP. The guide points out that facing Edelbacher in Orsalence's castle triggers a unique conversation event. The final assault on the Tower of Darkness in Dragon Force 2 triggers varied outcomes depending on the ruler, potentially reviving defeated foes. Following the tower, a key event unlocks unique special moves for each ruler, accompanied by CG images. The page highlights a relationship chart detailing connections between rulers and characters, showing bonds of love, hate, and loyalty. Notable relationships include Gonga's admiration, Tyrese's true care for Wayne, and the complexities surrounding Reni Kaid, Everus, Bartz, Sinis, Shen, Media, and the antagonist, Grindel. The chart reveals character motivations leading to the final battle. The guide concludes with advice on the final battle against Grindel in the Shrine of Darkness, warning of its intensity. This climactic battle necessitates equipping items to reduce magic charge time, as it will be a fierce, quick showdown. This page provides shortest strategy charts for 3 rulers in Dragon Force 2: Everus, Kaid, and Shen. For Everus, the guide emphasizes utilizing starting units effectively to progress. The path involves conquering key territories like Fundaria and Tabarts, forming an alliance with the Moon Palace after rescuing Renini, and then strategically surrounding the remaining enemy nations like Bozak, Izumo, Tristan, and Tradnoa. Key battles include defeating Media to open the path to the Desert Tower. Kaide's strategy is focused on quickly locating Muko, prioritizing capturing enemy rulers rather than prolonged battles with the demon race, especially until Queen Tyrese is rescued, which significantly alters the scenario. The route involves defeating Kikyo, gathering information on Tyrese, meeting Shen, and battling Grace, before heading towards the Desert Tower, Moon Palace, Tristan, and Tradnoa. Shen's guide starts with unifying to Walvbarts, before advancing to form alliances with Fundaria and Izumo. This establishes control over significant eastern and western territories,
simplifying further expansion. Key points include early battles against the demon race and overcoming obstacles like Grace before proceeding through Highland, the Desert Tower, and forming alliances leading to Tristan and Trad Noah. The page also mentions that the next issue will feature the shortest strategy charts for the remaining 5 rulers: Gongas, Barts, Sanis, Adalbar, and Reni. Additionally, there is a notice about a giveaway for the official Dragon Force 2 strategy guide. This page presents a strategy guide for the early story mode maps of Shadows of the Tusk. It focuses on understanding the game's mechanics, including how remaining mana after character placement determines the first turn, and the importance of mana management for HP recovery, summoning, and special abilities. The guide breaks down the enemy AI's thought process, explaining their targeting priorities, enemies in range, then the leader, and action priorities, moving towards mana areas, especially high-yield ones, and prioritizing summoning if allies are defeated. For Map 1, Ancient Ruins, the strategy emphasizes a defensive approach, despite the enemy starting with more mana. Since the enemy doesn't summon reinforcements after the first turn, and the player has a higher total HP pool, there's no need to rush. A suggested deck composition involves using Zadok and his Firewall ability to efficiently clear the initial group of Caspids. A character spotlight is given to Suan, Lake King, detailing her stats and abilities like dispelling location enchantments and healing, though her healing cost is noted as high compared to other characters. It also mentions that the Guardian character will become an ally later. Richard is highlighted as a potentially good initial leader choice for his ability to boost ally AP. The next page provides strategy guides for the early stages of Dark Savior's story mode, continuing from the previous page's introduction to the game's mechanics. For Map 2, Castletown, the main threat is Jigger, a high HP enemy with an area effect attack. The guide stresses prioritizing Jigger first and positioning characters carefully to avoid taking group damage before tackling other enemies like Galvados and Caspids. A suggested deck shows placing Guardian strategically near Jigger to draw his attention. The guide also mentions Rebecca joins your party after this map. A character spotlight introduces Ragan, a beastman with a straight-line attack ability called Waterblade. His lore ties into Zadok, detailing how Ragan becomes an ally. Moving on to Map 3, Temple Lair. The focus shifts to Maximilian, who boasts high attack power. The strategy advises surviving his attacks, noting he self-destructs after a few turns, and using allies like Zadok with Firewall to weaken other enemies like Creepers and Surun, while waiting for an opportunity to finish Maximilian. Clearing Map 3 adds Celeste to the party, a crucial addition as she provides HP recovery, notably allowing HP to go beyond the character's starting value. Finally, the page explains enchants, temporary effects that can buff or debuff characters or areas. It distinguishes between area-wide and individual enchants, and mentions negative effects are known as status ailments. Examples include effects like Flight, Magic Shield, and various damage over time or disabling effects. This page continues the Dark Savior strategy guide, detailing how to tackle Map 4 and Map 5, discussing movement types, and highlighting a new potential ally. First, the guide explains movement types: walking and flying. Flying units can move over other characters and obstacles. Importantly, certain abilities, like the Cyclops Earthquake, deal damage only to walking units, while flying units take no damage from it. Conversely, attacks like the Infantroids are more effective against flying units, gaining increased AP. For Map 4, the Desert Town, the main enemy is the leader Rankachenk, who is immune to magic attacks. The strategy recommends using the recently joined Shenna and Rebecca to counter Rankachenk, with Celeste providing crucial HP recovery. Summon Rebecca to the left side to engage Galvados. Map 5, the lava area, is filled with large creatures. The guide emphasizes a defensive posture, not pushing too far forward. Enemy summons typically follow the order: Creepers, Cyclops, Jiggers, Rumble. The initial focus should be defeating the 2 Creepers, then shifting to targeting the leader Rumble. Celeste remains key for healings. Finally, the page introduces Baderos as a character who can join your party. He is a machine type with high AP, but suffers 1 damage at the start of every turn. His special move, Laser Eye, deals damage in a straight line. He's best suited for quick battles due to his self-damaging trait. In Dark Savior's Ghost Ship map, the primary foe is Jolly Roger, who resurrects until the enemy's mana is depleted. The key strategy involves repeatedly defeating Jolly Roger to drain their mana. Celestia provides crucial support. Avoid Baderos initially, and focus on Roger using Celestia and Shenna, summoning Harry as mana allows.
Controlling the mana area is also important.
This map introduces Albrecht, a flying ally from Venus with a Sky Thunder Sword and flight ability. His flight grants allies flight enchantment. A practice problem challenges players to maximize damage against Baderos. The solution uses Ragan's Water Arrow and Shenna to buff Harry. Finally, the guide differentiates between adjacent and area of effect ability ranges.
This page delves into Multi-Lancer Reinforce, a dramatic simulation game on the SEGA Saturn. It outlines the game's structure, which unfolds over a 2-year period, culminating in different endings. The core gameplay loop involves managing Randy's training and relationships, with a significant scenario branch occurring after the first year based on Randy's abilities and performance. Players can end up on a Searcher, Inspector, or Commander path, depending on how they develop Randy's stats. The game features invisible parameters, like affection and cooperation with other characters, which influence events, and can even be gauged by observing their facial expressions, including expressions indicating positive and negative states. This is crucial as the game boasts a multi-ending system with over 20 possible outcomes, driven by your choices, relationships, and Randy's final status. Screenshots show the game's tactical combat, character status screens, event choices, and examples of character expressions changing. The guide emphasizes that while simply clearing the game isn't difficult, achieving specific endings requires careful planning from the start. This Multi-Lancer Reinforce guide outlines an early game event schedule. While the initial missions are straightforward, crucial choices during events impact character relationships and stats. The guide recommends prioritizing specific girls and suggests taking Sundays off for rest during the first 3 months. Basic training is also advised. Key events include special training, triggered by high Randy stats and an invitation, and the Cherry Blossom viewing on April 18th. Requiring a meeting instead of training. The basic training period event, May 10th to June 21st, involves completing all tasks by the deadline, with the event list offering optimal choices and dates. The challenging Angela and Ogre Tag minigame significantly boosts Angela's stats. The right-hand list provides specific event recommendations from March 24th to June 21st, including character partners, choices, and outcomes, aiding efficient early game progression. From July onward, Multi-Lancer Reinforce allows free partner selection for missions. Prioritize mission goals while ensuring no more than 4 girls have a relationship evaluation below 20 by the end of the first year. Key events include the EMP Festival, around August 9th, requiring strong Randy stats and good relationships, with choices affecting visuals. The Decoy Search on September 20th restricts character choices based on team selection. Choose the team with your target girl. October 17th is the Birthday event, rewarding those with high affection if it's your birthday. Shared Event 2. Summer Rancer and Randy occurs from late June to late November, featuring swimsuits. A detailed schedule through December provides specific dates, events, character choices, and outcomes, including transformations and service events, noting that event dates are flexible. This page continues the event schedule for Multi-Lancer Reinforce, focusing on late 2088 and early 2089. Protecting Patty in October triggers Taking Care of Patty missions, emphasizing the importance of checking all available Lancer missions after November as these tasks only appear on the mission selection screen. Managing Randy's stats and relationships is key to unlocking desired scenarios and endings, which can vary for the same character. The schedule details significant events like the Friendly Patrol until December 19th, where relationship parameters influence outcomes. The Christmas Party on December 26th is a long movie event. January 2nd brings the New Year's card event from Girls with High Affection. The EMP Sports Day on January 10th is a battle event where Randy fights solo. Winning within 10 turns and using special moves are crucial for a good score and breaking records. A notable chain of events is the Magical Stick event from February 13th to 20th, primarily involving Nana and Sakuya, which can lead to a special gift if specific conditions are met, including making the right choices in earlier linked events like the Search for the Stick. Various patrols and character-specific Taking Care of events for Melvina, Sakuya, and June are also listed, often with specific choice options highlighted. The page underscores that collaboration parameters trigger service events, and that some event dates can change based on choices. Shining Force 2, Scenario 2, Targeted Child is a single-player SEGA Saturn RPG. This guide details Battle 13 on Barland West Plain,
where players must defeat all enemies, including succubi, skeletons, and hunter elves. Reinforcements will arrive mid-battle. Holy and ranged weapons are recommended due to the undead enemies. Using anti-magic on magic, using foes like Hedva, is important. The guide also covers the Imperial Army-occupied town of Barland, mapping its key locations, like the headquarters and item shop. Players can find the Chaos Ring in a treasure box, which helps suppress item curses. Finding Dawnhort in the Lord's Manor basement is an event trigger. The guide provides character details for Julian, hero, and Dawnhort, battle monk, outlining their stats, equipment, and special moves, such as Julian's Heatburner and Dawnhort's Tornado. Finally, it lists the item shop inventory, along with prices and effects. This page from the Shining Force 2, Eyes Scenario 2 Guide, details Battles 14 and 15. Battle 14, set on Barland Beach, requires defeating all enemies. It highlights the return of Dawnhort, who joins the party after his rescue and decides to fight. The guide maps out initial enemies, reinforcements, and key points, emphasizing gaining experience and obtaining the Black Ring treasure. A specific strategy is suggested for training units within the ruins area. The guide then moves to Battle 15 on Elbasim Road, where the objective is to defeat the monster lurking underwater. This battle marks the point where Zero joins the party, bringing the essential Elbasim's treasure orb, needed to break the Octobus boss's barrier. The map shows enemy placements and Zero's joining location, noting that certain initial enemies must be defeated before Zero appears. The guide also provides brief data summaries for various enemy units encountered across battles 13 through 15, including their stats, drops, and special abilities. A small screenshot shows the party gathered on the beach. This page delves into the dark and mysterious world of Baroque, a 3D RPG for the SEGA Saturn. It serves as a guide focusing on the numerous events players will encounter within the ever-changing Neuro Tower. The game challenges players to navigate this bizarre structure, where while the overall layout shifts with each entry, specific events are tied to certain floors. The guide kicks off by recommending utilizing the Tridan, a training dungeon, as essential preparation before tackling the main tower. It emphasizes mastering combat and aiming to reach the lowest floor of the Neuro Tower to understand the game's core objectives, primarily purifying the grotesque malforms encountered there. A key mechanic highlighted is the role of the Archangel, a benevolent being who can synthesize items for the player. This is crucial for improving equipment, repairing deteriorated items, and even making unsavory food edible, showcasing the game's unique inventory management. The page also previews several specific character encounters or events found on different floors, including a disembodied face asking unsettling questions, a mind reader, mysterious figures named Urim and Tonmim, and an archangel providing cryptic guidance. Finally, a basic combat tip is offered. Always try to fight enemies one-on-one by drawing them into corridors, rather than facing multiple foes simultaneously in open rooms. This comprehensive look prepares players for the challenges ahead in this difficult dungeon crawler. This page continues the strategy guide for Baroque, focusing on the deeper levels of the Neuro Tower, where events become more frequent and crucial to the narrative. It emphasizes that these encounters are deeply intertwined with the game's story and are essential to witness. A brief combat tip is offered. Dodging attacks is possible, but less frequent than drawing enemies into corridors for one-on-one fights. The page then provides a floor-by-floor breakdown of significant events and characters encountered in the lower levels, from basement floor 1 to the deepest level. This includes encounters with the strange angelworm, the questioning phantom face from the previous page, the mysterious girls Eliza and Alice, the unsettling mind reader, the enigmatic Urim and Tonmim, the boxed man, Coriel seeking purification, the hostile slaughter squad, and various forms of the Archangel, including the one responsible for item creation, and another on the deepest floor. The guide highlights the reunion with Eliza and Alice on BF12, and the final encounter with the Archangel, and another being on BF13, suggesting these moments reveal crucial truths about the protagonist's past and the world's state. The text notes the dialogue in these events is often cryptic, but vital for understanding the game's complex lore. This page delves into the various status changes and helpful items the protagonist will encounter and utilize within Baroque's Neuro Tower. It emphasizes that dealing with the menacing grotesques requires strategic use of item bones, as the protagonist is inherently weak. The guide details several key status effects and their causes or countermeasures. There's the experience bone, which doubles experience gain for a minute, and the guard bone, providing a significant duration of resistance against fire,
ice, and lightning damage. Crucially, the invincibility bone grants temporary immunity to all attacks, including traps, though it lasts only a short time, making it ideal for escaping dangerous situations or gathering oneself when low on health or items. The page also highlights specific negative status effects inflicted by certain grotesques. The grotesque San can induce a weakened state, drastically reducing movement speed, while Nikuri and Nikura can cause confusion, making movement unpredictable. Hangwons can inflict paralysis, rendering the protagonist immobile. Perhaps the most unusual is the lust state caused by Raka's attacks, which makes everything, including enemies, appear as beautiful women, impairing judgment. Each negative status typically has a duration, and can sometimes be cured with specific recovery items like different types of elixirs, or by using certain item bones. The images show the distinct forms of Nikuri and Nikura, San, Raya, and Hangwons, illustrating the creatures responsible for these debilitating effects. This page serves as an encyclopedia for all the different types of grotesques you can encounter within the game Baroque. Titled, All Grotesque Encyclopedia, it poses the question of whether you've met every single one. The guide provides an image of each creature, along with descriptions of their behavior both when they are unaware of you and when they are actively engaged in combat. For instance, creatures like Nikuri and Nikura are described as wandering aimlessly until they spot you, at which point they lunge to bite and attack. San is depicted as typically standing still, only starting to chase and attack once detected.
Hangwons hang from the ceiling and attack with their arms.
Raya waits motionlessly in areas until you enter, then attacks with tentacle-like limbs. These entries offer valuable insight into the enemy patterns and attacks, serving as a crucial reference for navigating the dangerous Neurotower. This page features evocative artwork of the protagonist of Baroque alongside a ghostly, multi-limbed figure, set against a backdrop of vibrant, swirling energy. The accompanying text delves into the narrative and thematic depth of the game. It appears to be an excerpt from a story or reflection, mentioning characters like Ruby, encounters such as the Tarantella, and the core concept of distorted delusions central to the Baroque universe. The page defines interludium as a series of short stories set between the main Baroque game and its prequel, emphasizing their deep connection to both worlds and the struggle for hope in a reality dependent on these delusions. This seems to mark the conclusion of a specific story arc or volume related to this interludium content, titled Immortal End. The next page concludes the Baroque interludium, the final story arc, titled Immortal. The content is primarily a narrative excerpt featuring dialogue between the protagonist and a mysterious veiled girl, revealed to be Ruby. Their intense conversation explores the themes of immortality, the power of names, curses, and the unique nature of death within the Baroque universe. The dialogue touches upon a catastrophic event from the past, and the concept of two powers required for immortality. A symbolic scene involving a spider is also part of the narrative. The story culminates with Ruby collapsing and then leaving, while the protagonist reflects on their own immortal existence. Small text at the bottom provides context for the Baroque prequel, introducing characters like Kanazawa Kitsune, who runs the Baroquea, creating stories for those lost in delusion, and explains Watanabe Ruby's initial motivation for infiltrating Kitsune's office to find information about the grotesque who killed her friend. This page features the 9th installment of the Imadio Certified Fan page. The main column is by Takahashi from Imadio PR, who expresses his excitement about receiving encouraging letters from readers, which he considers a major announcement. He discusses the recently released game Multi-Lancer Reinforce, hinting at game content and even secrets or special modes that can be accessed by starting at a specific time. The page also includes an illustration exhibition showcasing artwork submitted by readers. These fan illustrations feature characters from popular games developed by Tenki, including Desire and Eve, the Lost One. Various artists are credited for their submissions, depicting characters from these visual novels. This page dives into the world of Multi-Lancer Reinforce and other titles from the developer Imadio. The main focus is a character popularity contest for Multi-Lancer Reinforce, asking readers who their favorite character is among the 8 featured on the page. The characters prominently displayed include Nana, Randy, Anshul, Shion, and Sakuya. Readers are encouraged to vote by sending in their preferred character's name by the end of May. As a prize, 8 lucky voters will receive something nice from Takahashi at Imadio PR. The page also features a promotion for the book, Eve, The Lost One World Guidance.
It highlights this book as a must-have, containing stunning, never-before-seen original setting artwork from Eve, the Lost One. One copy of this lavish book is being given away as a prize. The bottom section includes illustrations of characters from Eve, showing Sylvie and Patty enjoying some time in the water, and Melvina. This page continues the theme from the previous page of highlighting Amadio's titles and engaging with the fanbase.
This page covers the highly successful musical adaptation of Sakura Wars, titled Sakura Taisen Blooming Maidens. It announces the safe conclusion of the Tokyo and Osaka performances and features an interview conducted in Osaka with Oji Hiroi, the creator of the series, and members of the cast. Oji Hiroi shares his impressions, noting the remarkable growth of the cast, many of whom are primarily voice actors transitioning to stage performance. He highlights the challenges of coordinating movement and lines simultaneously, something they worked hard to overcome. He also expresses satisfaction with how the game was successfully adapted into a musical, noting the audience's warm reception. Hiroi emphasizes that the musical successfully attracted new audiences, people who were unfamiliar with musicals but came because of Sakura Wars, and that this power to draw people is incredible. The bottom section showcases the enthusiastic fan response, featuring photos of a long line of attendees, bustling merchandise sales, and fans filling out surveys. This illustrates the immense popularity of the Sakura Wars franchise and the success of the musical in engaging its dedicated fan base, encouraging them to attend the upcoming Caillou Show 2. The next page continues coverage of the Sakura Wars musical, featuring interviews with 3 key cast members. Hizuru Kotobuki, who plays the Empress of Darkness, describes the audience's initial cautious reaction in Tokyo, transforming into enthusiastic engagement by the second act. She shares the challenges of her role, especially the difficulty of a complex dance number while suspended in the air, but expresses gratitude for the audience's support and the overall positive experience. Shintaro Sanuka discusses his role as the Black Pierrot, noting the difference between the character's image in the game and the musical adaptation. He highlights the differing reactions of the audience in Tokyo and Osaka, and the physical demands of his costume and performance, particularly the heavy headpiece, and the challenge of maintaining a consistent expression while moving. He also touches on the unique experience of playing a character with a dual personality. Finally, Erika Hisami speaks about embodying the role of Orihime Amakusa, detailing the significant effort required to fully internalize the character. She admits to initial difficulties early in the run, but feels she experienced considerable growth as an actress through this production. The page also briefly mentions a Sakura 2 Experience Corner, where attendees could play a demo of the game, and promotes a giveaway contest for signed items by Oji Hiroi, the creator of the series. This page provides valuable insight into the cast's experience, bringing the beloved game characters to life on stage, and underscores the musical's success. This page features the column Around the Digital World, introducing the game Galapagos, described as a new sensation game centered around controlling artificial life. The author notes it was a surprising development that SEGA is publishing this title, as it's actually a PC game developed for Mac and Windows, not the Saturn. The core gameplay is highlighted as being unlike traditional action or puzzle games. You don't directly control the artificial life forms, called Mendels, but rather guide them indirectly through 3D labyrinth stages, compared to managing railway points. This indirect control creates a unique dynamic, described as a pet feeling, frustrating at times when the Mendel acts on its own will, but rewarding when your guidance leads to success. The goal is to guide the Mendels through obstacles and puzzles across multiple sectors to save the universe. The page includes several screenshots showing the Mendel character interacting with various game elements like barriers, lifts, and sliding platforms. The author concludes by suggesting that Galapagos is a noteworthy title that would be a prime candidate for porting to Sega's next-generation console. This page is dedicated to the official guide for the SEGA Saturn version of Multilancer Reinforces. The vibrant artwork features the main characters, including the central blonde-haired protagonist wielding a large handgun, surrounded by other members of the cast in dynamic poses. The guide, priced at 1,400 yen and spanning 112 full-color pages, offers a comprehensive look at the SEGA Saturn port. It specifically highlights and explains the changes made to the battle scenes and the newly added events in this version. A significant feature is the dramatically increased content dedicated to voice actor interviews. As a special bonus, purchasers receive 2 original trading cards, and there's a chance to win signed shikishi boards from the voice actors. Published by SoftBank Corporation's publishing division, it's presented as a guide that will greatly satisfy Multilancer fans.
This page features the Arcade Express highlighting new and currently operating titles. The focus is on the new shooting game, especially Raw.de from Atlas and Cave, which supports two-player simultaneous play and is currently available in arcades. The page provides a story overview set in a futuristic Tokyo, where especially users commit crimes, leading to the formation of specialized units. The main illustration showcases the 3 playable characters, and screenshots display the game's intense bullet patterns and enemy designs. The game is described as offering the exhilarating feeling of navigating through countless bullets and destroying enemies with rapid fire. The developers from Atlas and Cave state their intention to prioritize the unique feel and rhythm of the shooting gameplay, as well as the visuals and world setting. They aimed to create a game accessible to both hardcore fans and newcomers to the genre. The overall sentiment expressed is that especially Raw.de heralds a new era for shooting games. This page dives deeper into the mechanics of the arcade shooter, especially Raw.de. Focusing on the core combat system, it emphasizes the importance of mastering the 3 distinct attack types available to players: the standard main shot for continuous fire, the powerful power shot which deals heavy damage and offers score multipliers, and the guard barrier which provides temporary invincibility and can be unleashed as a devastating attack. The article also introduces the 3 playable characters: Yusuke Sagami, Irori Mimasaka, and JB Fifth. Each character has a unique background and their own variations of the main shot and power shot, influencing strategy. Interestingly, the game changes the starting stage and even boss encounters depending on which character you choose, adding replayability. The screenshots showcase the intense bullet patterns and the visual flair of each character's abilities and enemy designs, highlighting the unique approach taken by the developers at Atlas and Cave. Mastering these diverse attack types and understanding the nuances of each character is presented as the key to success in this frantic and exciting SHMUP. The next page presents the results of the King of Fighters 97 illustration contest held by the magazine, showcasing winning artwork from various artists. It features different award categories including the Grand Prize, Excellence Award, Special Award, and Honorable Mention. The illustrations prominently feature characters from KOF 97, such as Kyo Kusanagi, Iori Yagami, Benimaru Nikaido, King, Athena Asamiya, Clark Still, Ralph Jones, and members of the Orochi team. The comments from the judges or editors highlight the quality of the artwork, the dynamic compositions, and the artist's passion for the characters. Winning artists received prizes like SNK calendars, art books, posters, and CD sets.
The page serves as a celebration of fan creativity inspired by the popular fighting game.
This page continues the exhibition of fan-submitted illustrations for the King of Fighters series, a wonderful display of community creativity. Titled as a KOF illustration exhibition, the page expresses sincere thanks for the multitude of masterpieces received. You'll find various artworks showcasing beloved characters, such as Kyo Kusanagi, Iori Yagami, Mai Shiranui, Shingo Yabuki, members of the Orochi team, King, and Athena Asamiya. Each illustration includes the artist's name, location, and a brief comment from the editors or judges, praising different aspects, like expressive details, coloring techniques, and character portrayals. The editorial summary section thanks everyone for their overwhelming participation and the passion demonstrated in the submissions, particularly highlighting the popularity of KOF 97 characters.
Looking forward, the magazine teases a potential special feature on Real Bout Fatal Fury 2 and invites readers to submit their opinions and illustrations. They are also holding a popularity poll, asking for drawings of up to 3 favorite SNK characters by June 23rd. The page clearly celebrates the vibrant fan community surrounding Spunk's fighting games.
This page is an advertisement for the Baroque World Guidance book, offering a deep dive into the surreal and unsettling world of the SEGA Saturn game, Baroque. It showcases the game's distinctive art style through various framed images featuring the protagonist, bizarre creatures, and conceptual designs. The book itself is described as a comprehensive guide, expanding on the game's universe through detailed information on the intricate 3D figures, captivating artwork of the game's mutated inhabitants, and the profound depth of the accompanying novel. It also includes interviews with the creators, providing insight into the game's development and lore. Notably, the book features a refined and reprinted version of Baroque Before History, a story that was previously serialized in SEGA Saturn magazine. Details for the guide are provided. It's a B5 size book with 128 pages, priced at an estimated 2,200 yen, and was scheduled for release in early June. The page also highlights a poignant quote from Ecclesiastes, suggesting the game explores themes of sin and righteousness in a world where true purity is non-existent, fitting the game's dark and philosophical tone. This guide promises to be an essential resource for fans wanting to fully immerse themselves in the captivating and complex narrative of Baroque.
This page provides an official look from Sega's AM1 Research Lab at the upcoming arcade game, Dynamite Deca, internationally known as Die Hard Arcade. This action brawler, running on Sega's powerful Model 2 hardware, was scheduled for a May release. The core gameplay revolves around straightforward combat. You can unleash continuous techniques by simply mashing the punch or kick buttons, with special moves accessed through directional inputs combined with button presses. The techniques can change depending on button combinations and character actions, like dashing. What's interesting is how the same command can result in different moves depending on which character you're playing. The article highlights the 3 distinct playable characters. Bruno Dellinger is described as a powerful and easy-to-use fighter who excels at boxing-style attacks and can transition smoothly into wrestling-style throws and slams. Gene Ivy focuses on joint lock techniques, offering precise and satisfying combat using punch and kick button combinations. Eddie Brown overwhelms enemies with a high volume of hits, utilizing Muay Thai and Judo skills, and capable of unleashing long, devastating combos. Screenshots showcase various moves like spinning punches, body attacks, leg sweeps, and throws. The game also features cinematic event scenes with dynamic camera angles that unfold like a movie, making the 2-player co-op experience particularly cool, especially when reaching the final boss. There are also special techniques like a health-costing emergency evasion and character-specific wake-up attacks. It notes that some details were still subject to change during development. This page is the 100th volume of the weekly official corner Sega AM2 Express, and it brings a significant scoop on Daytona USA 2, Battle on the Edge. The main focus is the intermediate course for the game, and AM2 reveals that the concept for this track is a full-blown theme park. Inspired by real-world locations like Universal Studios and Disney World, the developers have created a course packed with diverse attractions. The screenshots showcase this variety, depicting segments featuring a massive pirate ship, a scene of a destroyed train, and a section with giant rings. These visuals highlight the course's intention to feel less like a traditional racetrack and more like a ride through different themed areas, contrasting sharply with the circuits found in the original Daytona USA. The article emphasizes that the course even has a story-like progression from start to finish. AM2 promises a more detailed introduction to this course in the next issue, urging readers not to miss it. Daytona USA 2, Battle on the Edge features 3 car types, each tied to a difficulty: Easy, Chum's Gum Racing; Normal, Scorpio Plasma Racing; and Hard, Phantom Racing. Players can choose between automatic and manual transmissions for each, resulting in 6 total car options. The Easy car prioritizes grip for beginners, the Normal car offers standard drifting like the original Daytona USA, and the Hard car caters to experienced players with extensive drifting. The Hard mount car boasts the highest top speed. The article compares the original Daytona USA's Hornet to the new cars, highlighting styling differences and revealing that the Easy car in Daytona USA 2 outperforms the original Hornet. Developer insights from Mr. Osaki explain the 3 car choices aim for wider accessibility, specifically mentioning that the Easy car is designed to be more user-friendly, even for female players. Finally, the page unveils the beginner course with screenshots. This page dives into the beginner course of Daytona USA 2, Battle on the Edge, known as the Forest Dome. It highlights that while the layout is based on the original Daytona USA's beginner oval, this version is significantly different, featuring a complex second turn and scenic resort-like surroundings. The article walks through the course sections, showing the rolling start, the busy home straight with 40 cars, and the nuances of turns 1 and 2. A key feature introduced is the How to Play system, embedded within the game's Attract mode, which offers helpful tips for players. These tips cover essential racing techniques like avoiding crashes, mastering basic acceleration and steering, and even advanced concepts like drifting and slipstreaming. This guidance is presented as a welcome addition, particularly for newcomers, reflecting the game's focus on accessibility. The page also shows the course selection screen, confirming the 3 difficulty options: beginner, short, intermediate, medium, and expert, long. Daytona USA 2,
Battle on the Edge offers intense, high-speed racing with visible car damage and the return of pit stops for tire changes and repairs. A unique name entry system utilizes a thrilling roulette wheel to determine starting positions. Players can choose from multiple camera views, including the immersive cockpit view from Scud Race, though with a reduced field of vision. Reverse driving is still possible, now aided by a directional arrow for beginners, which disappears if they drive the wrong way for too long. The beginner course features a challenging, accessible, distorted oval layout. Screenshots highlight these features, showcasing the racing action, damage, pit stops, viewpoints, and the reverse driving indicator. This page features dynamic artwork showcasing characters from Fighting Vipers 2, prominently displayed above the large title, FV2 vs. GABA. It announces a special event to celebrate the release of Fighting Vipers 2. The article highlights that while typical fighting game events are tournaments, this is a unique club event titled FV2 vs. GABA. The idea is to enjoy the game in a lively atmosphere with comfortable sound. The page also includes a section explaining what's GABA. It describes GABA as a subgenre of techno music known for its extremely fast tempo, often exceeding 200 BPM, distorted kick drums, and heavy use of sampling. The intensity of GABA music is compared to the thrilling excitement experienced when playing Fighting Vipers 2. The text also notes that GABA is a Dutch word meaning comrade or friend, suggesting a sense of community for the event. The event is scheduled for June 5th. This page continues the discussion of the Skull Polygon 2 FV2 vs. GABA event, expanding on the unique club night concept, celebrating Fighting Vipers 2 with high-energy GABA music. The event aims to offer a vibrant space for both series veterans and newcomers to enjoy the game. The page highlights the impressive DJ lineup, including GABA expert Tokihead, SEGA staff member Tiger on Beat, and even Fighting Vipers 2 character designer Imai Tuhans. Adding to the excitement, Swiss artists Kipu and Loveform are scheduled to perform a special live set. There's a tantalizing hint about a possible event-exclusive version of Fighting Vipers 2 being available to play, referencing the previous Saturn release of Fighting Vipers, which featured unique content like Pepsi Man, Honey's alternate costumes, and the secret character Arrow. The full event details are provided, including the date, June 5, 1998, time, 10 p.m. to 5 a.m., location, Candlelight Club in Tokyo, entry fee, 2,500 yen with one drink, and an 18-plus age restriction. Director Kataoka offers insights into the event, noting SEGA staff's involvement in the DJ lineup. The page concludes by teasing a complete move list for all 11 characters of Fighting Vipers 2 in the upcoming issue. This page features an arcade special report focusing on Cyber Troopers Virtualon Oratorio Tangram, highlighting its status as a popular and noteworthy arcade game. The main focus is on the enhanced close combat system in Oratan, breaking down the mechanics for players. It explains how weapons automatically switch to close range when an opponent is within a certain distance, accompanied by a double lock-on. The guide details new close combat elements, including actions like crouching attacks, turbo moves, and short jumps. A section is dedicated to canceling close combat attacks, suggesting it can be used for feints or recovering from whiffed attacks by performing actions like quick steps or jumps. It also covers defending against close attacks using the guard, activated by tilting both levers inward, though it notes that guarding still incurs slight damage. The page includes a spotlight on the MBV 707F Temjin unit, illustrating its specific close combat attacks. The left trigger performs a sword attack, and the double trigger attack uses the sword with a wider follow-through range and greater damage. The right trigger initiates a rifle stab attack instead of a sword swing. Screenshots demonstrate these attacks and display Temjin's effective close combat ranges. This report details the close combat abilities of several Virtualoid units in Cyber Troopers Virtualon Oratorio Tangram. The HBV 502H Raiden utilizes shoulder energy blasts, punches, and a bazooka bash with a double trigger attack. The RVR-14 Fan the Knight focuses on sword attacks, including a parry then swing double trigger. The RVR-42 Cypher employs a sword-transformed multi-launcher, featuring a turning swing for its double trigger. The RVR-39 Afarmid, the battler uses Tonfa, with its double trigger boasting the longest range and highest damage, alongside a machine gun bash. Finally, the RVR-33 Afarmid, the striker uses a fanny launcher and knives, employing a double trigger knife attack that hits twice. Ukulele. Each unit section includes screenshots and numerical data regarding attack ranges.
This report details the close combat capabilities of various virtualoids in Virtualon Oratorio Tangram. The RVR-68 Dordre uses a drill and claw, with the double trigger combining them. The SGV-417L Angelin employs a club and icy hand, its double trigger maintaining close range. The XBV-819TR Barbados uses beam claws and swords, with attacks unaffected by arm detachment. The RVR-87 Specinef utilizes launchers as scythes, and its double trigger has a deceptive range. Lastly, the SAV-326D Greasefolk uses arm launchers and a rapid spinning double trigger attack. Each Virtualoid's attacks are illustrated with screenshots showing left, right, and double trigger actions, along with range data. This page provides basic strategies for 3 Virtualon Oratorio Tangram Virtualoids. The MBV-707F Temjin is a beginner-friendly mech utilizing its front dash beam saber for pressure and beam sword for stuns, alongside a long-range beam saber. HSB-502H Raiden, known for power, focuses on its effective center laser and high-damage right turbo attack, complemented by wide-area Grand Napalm and Napalm bomb attacks. RVR-14 Fei-NKN emphasizes high mobility with its beam swords, heart beams, and ground/air maneuverability. The right trigger heart beam is a key starting point, and its beam sword cancels enemy projectiles. The page offers key insights for players looking to master these Virtualoids. This page delves into the exciting world of Denu Senki Virtualon merchandise, specifically focusing on items related to Oratorio Tangram, and hinting at something called X-Over. As a longtime Virtualon pilot, I can tell you the merch is always a big deal for fans. First up is an update on the latest prize items. The popular collection figures are getting a Ver.2 release, sporting the cool 2P colors, and featuring a super rare hyper-evolved Fei-En variant. Definitely a must-have for collectors. T-shirts are also arriving for summer, including an Oratorio Tangram design perfect for grabbing from a UFO catcher. It is also a mysterious 3D mousepad teased, promising changing visuals depending on the viewing angle. Fan-favorite keychain figures are making a comeback for Oratan, with Vera.1 launching in December and a complete Vera.2 lineup planned for early next year, featuring all the characters we love. The page also briefly mentions telecards and encourages fans to share what items they'd like to see next. It seems AM3 is keeping busy with plenty of goods for Virtualon enthusiasts,
all building anticipation for whatever this X-Over provisional project turns out to be.
This page continues the discussion around Virtualon Oratorio Tangram, focusing on merchandise updates and hints about the game's future. First, there's a brief lineup of upcoming Oratan prize items for the rest of the year, including figures, a telecard, a mousepad, and keychains. Following up on the previous page, the second volume of the popular Virtualon telecard is now available, featuring a design based on poster visuals by the renowned mechanical designer Hajime Katoki. It was a limited run of 500 cards, sold primarily at SEGA physical stores and some ATP locations.
The page also invites fans to send in questions about Oratan.
More interestingly, the main text reflects on the development history of Oratan over the past 2 years. It brings up the project referred to as X-Over Provisional, and suggests that Dr. Watari, a legendary figure perhaps known for his virtual Lendion lectures mentioned in a previous SEGA Saturn magazine issue from 1996, seems to be returning. The content creators express hope that the game's development is reaching a point where there's time for renewal, and hint that something is planned for the June 5th issue of SEGA Saturn magazine. Finally, there's an announcement that the next issue of this segment will be taking a break, likely related to the upcoming renewal or development focus. The page is accompanied by several screenshots of Virtualon Oratorio Tangram gameplay.
This page is the 11th installment of the SEGA AMR&D Office Flatout series, featuring part 2 of a special interview with the development staff of SEGA Rally 2. 4 programmers from the AMR&D division are interviewed: Masaki Yamamoto, Masahito Kurosawa, Hajime Sugiyama, and chief programmer Shohei Yamamoto. The interview delves into the challenges and experiences of developing SEGA Rally 2, specifically focusing on the transition from the Model 2 to the more powerful Model 3 hardware. Each programmer discusses their specific areas of responsibility, such as handling game libraries and effects, implementing physics and collision detection,
managing visual effects like weather and lighting, and overall machine performance tuning. They share their struggles and triumphs, highlighting the increased potential of Model 3 for rendering detailed environments, including nuanced road surfaces like bumps and snow, which was a significant step up from Model 2's polygon capabilities. The programmers also touch upon unique features, like implementing animals on the course and realistic camera work to simulate a cameraman. Overall, they reflect on the difficulties and rewarding aspects of pushing the boundaries of racing game development on the new hardware. The page is accompanied by dynamic screenshots showcasing the impressive graphics of SEGA Rally 2. This page continues the special interview with the development staff of SEGA Rally Championship 2. Hajime Sugiyama shares his vision for creating games that engage all five senses, going beyond just visual fidelity. He discusses the balance between realism and gameplay enjoyment, suggesting that actual driving isn't necessarily difficult, and aims to create an extreme, simulator-like experience, potentially for SEGA Rally Championship 3. Another team member, Mori, explains that for SEGA Rally Championship 2, the focus wasn't just on improving the previous game, but on capturing the essence of the real-world rally championship. He recounts visiting Monaco to experience the atmosphere and impact of actual rally cars firsthand, which heavily influenced their design choices. Other developers discuss features like communication play for multiplayer fun, and expanding the scale of the game for broader appeal. The team reflects on the challenges and successes of developing the game, aiming for both realism and approachability. The page also includes a section announcing a present campaign offering Michelin goods and the SEGA Rally Championship 2 official guide, alongside a call for reader letters and questions for the AM Division staff. An update from the AM Division mentions a visitor named Shika Halskin, who came to play SEGA Rally Championship 2 and was impressed by the game's feel. This page features the Yarigomi Edition, official guide for the SEGA Saturn title, Pro Yaku Team O Tsukuru. Let's make a pro baseball team. This baseball management simulation game challenges players to build and run their own professional team. The guide is aimed at dedicated fans looking to deeply understand the game's mechanics. The guide is substantial, weighing in at 256 pages and packed with essential data. It provides detailed player statistics, presented in an easy-to-understand 100-level format, crucial for player development and team building. It also includes in-depth strategies covering everything from player training camps and coaching staff decisions to mastering the financial aspects of running a baseball club for maximum profit. The guide promises to answer player questions and offers unique strategies not found elsewhere, along with helpful player rankings based on abilities. It's presented as a valuable resource for anyone serious about mastering the game. The page also mentions a separate Ikeki Edition guide, suggesting players might start there before diving into the advanced Yarigomi Edition. This page features Mother Hakozaki's style fortune-telling for the week of May 22nd to May 28th. Mother Hakozaki is depicted as a fortune-teller who has been in the business for over 20 years, apparently recently advising the editorial staff. The section, This Week's Lucky Person, highlights those born under the sign of Gemini on June 6th, using a screenshot from Real Bout Fatal Fury, featuring the Jin brothers, Jin Chonshu and Jin Chonrei. The text suggests their balance might be disrupted, urging communication to understand each other's feelings. The general advice for the week from Mother Hakozaki is optimistic regarding luck, cautiously noting minor potential injuries, advising against overthinking work or study, and suggesting difficulty in understanding a partner's feelings in romance. The majority of the page is dedicated to weekly horoscopes for all 12 zodiac signs, providing separate predictions for boys and girls with simple illustrations. Each sign's forecast includes general advice for the week and mentions lucky items or colors, covering various aspects of life for the upcoming 7 days. This page features the final installment of a series titled The Subtle Relationship Between Games and Art, Towards the Formless, exploring games as a non-material city. The author, drawing on a background in art and art history, reflects on the unique qualities of video games that emerged in the late 20th century. The article discusses how games, unlike traditional art forms, possess movement, sound, and interactivity. A screenshot from SimCity 2000, presented here as Work 60, illustrates this point, showcasing a dynamic simulation environment. The author contemplates the future of gaming, speculating on a trajectory towards brain-linked interfaces and complete virtual reality, where physical controllers and screens become obsolete. Despite the seemingly primitive nature of late 90s games, the author posits they hold a form of truth about the world. The piece concludes with a brief profile of the author, Hito Fuse, an academic and writer interested in photography and novels. This page is dedicated to the Extreme Hidden Techniques corner, showcasing reader-submitted cheats for SEGA Saturn games, with prizes like SEGA Saturn software and book vouchers for those whose submissions are featured. The first game highlighted is Sotsugyo 2, is Wadding Bell. Here, players can access a hidden menu for minigames, BGM tests, and voice tests by naming the main character Sotsugyo after a specific in-game date. Finishing the game and holding the L button while selecting Continue reveals this secret menu. Another trick for the same game lets you make the message window disappear by pressing the L and R buttons simultaneously, allowing for a clearer view of the character art and scenes. Next up is a handy trick for Super Robot Wars F Final Chapter. For players struggling with battles, a quick continue method is presented. By holding the A, B, C, and start buttons while resetting the game, you can immediately restart from your last saved point, saving time and frustration after a tactical blunder. The page wraps up by encouraging readers to submit their own hidden techniques for consideration in future issues. This page features the weekly SEGA Saturn Soft Review section, offering opinions on new releases from the perspectives of female users, staff writers, and guest writers. First up is Mutsue Monogatari R, a survival adventure with romance elements. Reviewers noted the surprising depth of the survival aspects, particularly the extensive cooking system using gathered ingredients, which was a highlight. Opinions varied on the romance part, with some finding the character illustrations and limited dialogue less appealing. Difficulty was described as normal, focusing on searching for items and managing survival alongside relationship building. The game features a 100% completed sample with an average score of 7.0. Next is GT24, a racing game centered around a 24-hour endurance race concept. While the idea of a long endurance race was praised, the actual gameplay was found to be challenging in unexpected ways, described as difficult to play rather than just difficult in skill. Criticisms included poor handling, particularly for cornering, and inconsistent AI rival speed. The graphics, while featuring polygonal cars, were considered somewhat coarse. The game includes time attack and Grand Prix modes, and the 2P mode allows driver changes during the endurance race. It also uses a 100% completed sample and received a lower average score of 5.66. Brief commentator profiles are also included at the bottom, introducing the individuals who provided the reviews. This page continues the weekly SEGA Saturn Soft Review section, presenting opinions from various viewpoints on new releases. First reviewed is Revolutionary Girl Utena. Someday That Revolution Will Happen, an adventure game based on the popular anime. The reviewers were particularly impressed by the opening animation. The game follows the original story with decision points, focusing on character relationships, though some found the lack of save points inconvenient. While primarily aimed at fans, it received generally positive scores, indicating it successfully captured the feel of the series. Next is Osama Game, categorized as a variety or party game. The main focus is on a collection of minigames, featuring unique character designs that some reviewers found a bit strange but acceptable for fans. With 10 different types of minigames spread across 2 discs, it offers a substantial amount of content, though the punishment game aspect upon losing was noted. This section also features new software and peripheral check, looking at fan-oriented releases. Grandia Digital Museum is presented as a data collection for fans of the RPG Grandia, including setting materials, mini-games, and save data from key moments, serving as a digital archive. Following this is Find Love 2, the prologue, a fan disc and preview for an upcoming dating simulation game. It features characters chosen by popularity and includes interactive elements like dialogue, character media, video letters, songs, and production materials, released as a limited edition for series enthusiasts. The next page announces a special reader present campaign from SEGA Saturn Magazine. It details how readers can enter by sending in a postcard to win various prizes. The presents include a selection of SEGA Saturn software, the concluding game in the Super Robot Wars F series featuring new units and a complete story, and a poster for the band Moonriders with artwork by the character designer of Neon Genesis Evangelion. Also offered are a rare Sakura Wars telephone card featuring the iconic character Sakura Shinguji, a jigsaw puzzle based on the dark RPG Baroque, and a guide package for aspiring graphic designers using a PC. The page also teases the upcoming issue, highlighting big news about Sega's next hardware reveal, and provides contact information for magazine inquiries. Finally, there is a detailed list of winners from previous prize giveaways. This page is an advertisement for the SEGA Saturn exclusive RPG, Lunar 2. Eternal Blue, showcasing the main characters and announcing its scheduled release on July 23, 1998, for 6,800 yen. This page features a prominent advertisement for Grandia Digital Museum, a unique release for the SEGA Saturn that serves as a companion piece to the original RPG masterpiece. The large red text across the center declares, "The adventure doesn't end," fitting for a collection that expands upon the world of Grandia. The page showcases screenshots that veterans will recognize from the game's beautiful environments, interspersed with character portraits including the main trio, Justin, Fina, and Sue, along with other memorable characters from the journey. This release, scheduled for May 28 at a price of 3,500 yen, excluding tax, isn't just a collection of assets. It promises exciting new content, including 4 brand new dungeons to explore, minigames for diversion, and a radio drama that further develops the story and characters. The text also mentions that it's a nice touch to be able to use save data from the main Grandia game with this release, although the exact functionality isn't detailed here. It's clearly aimed at fans who loved the original Grandia, appealing to their nostalgia with the tagline, "We won't forget. That Grandia was part of our youth." This aligns with GameArt's history of creating beloved RPGs, much like their previous Saturn title, Lunar. Grandia Digital Museum looks like a fantastic way for fans to revisit the world and characters they cherished, offering fresh experiences beyond the original game.